Salutations, everybody. What's a crack-a-lackin'? It's a pleasure to be back again. After a couple of unfortunate days feeling ill yesterday and having massive internet issues the day before, the Craic has entered the official arena of Football Manager 26. We're going to continue on for a wee bit with this beta save that we were doing just to test things out and see if there's any other issues. We'll wait and then decide whether or not we actually move on to a more permanent save afterwards. But for now, we'll continue with that. But what has happened in the world of football since the Craic has been on with us? Well, a number of Champions League matches has happened. Napoli failed to end up having a good result versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Arsenal showcased a good showcase against Slava Prague. Tottenham have worried the crap out of me by having a worldie against Copenhagen, and hopefully Mickey van de Ven doesn't play like that against us. Liverpool ended up making Trent Alexander-Arnold cry, and then probably worst of all, Bayern Munich via the showcase of Luis Diaz ended up showcasing the best of a player and the worst of a player as he almost killed someone while almost destroying the game. Now let's have a look as to whether or not that shall happen with me. How are things going with you today, my friend? Is all going good? Seeing your duck, the first one to end up coming in. What's a crack-a-lackin', my friend? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going delicious? Dealer Ben, how is your Thursday treating you? Is there any news with you? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going delicious? It's a pleasure to have you back in. Manifest. Senor Benny, it's a pleasure to have you in. We'll see what ends up happening, Ben. Because, to be honest, I genuinely think we're going to give them a run for their money. I think we're in a much better position than we think that we're in. And I think Tottenham are one of those teams that, and whether or not Frank is able to get this out of them is another kettle of fish, but I think they're one of those teams that when they feel like they're dominant, they have a tendency to get overconfident. Now, we do as well. Overconfident and play a wee bit too lax. Now, with that being said, it wouldn't shock me if we had a game at the same level of quality as what we seen in the final, if you'd believe it. But we'll see what ends up happening. All good, buddy. Currently nearly finished my third season at Atletico. Pleasure to hear, dealer. Anything exciting ended up happening in your save? Have you gotten a Champions League victory yet? Have you gotten anything exciting within your save? I mean, to be honest, Benny, if we'd done that, then he wouldn't end up having his publicity anymore. He wouldn't end up being happy. He wouldn't end up showcasing off his talents to everybody else. He's going to lose all of his selling factor the minute he ends up selling his hair. So if anything, we helped him. We're keeping his business alive. Much like I am doing here by trying something completely different in a brand new structure. So, for one game against Aston Villa, because I am a masochist, Aston Villa, who are currently 8th in the Premier League, we're going to change the system slightly to end up having 2 up front, 1 in the midfield, 2 in the wings, 2 centre defensive midfielders, 3 in the back. And then it ends up being like this when we're out of possession. And we'll see what ends up happening. I'm not doing this exclusively to give my 2 strikers a chance in the one game. But let's have a chance to see whether or not it ends up working. Now, when it comes down to United and Spurs, the one thing with United is there's an awful lot of horse manure on the grapevine. And one of the particular elements of horse manure that's being peddled at the current moment in time is on the 18-year-old Shea Lacey. and there's a heavy rumor that Shea Lacey will be on the bench for the Tottenham game and might end up getting some time in that game. I don't believe that as far as I could throw it, but at the same point in time, that would be an interesting kettle of fish to see the 18-year-old get a wee bit of time there. At the same point in time, they're on about JJ Gabriel getting the same type of situation like Arsenal have been doing with Max Dowman. And then there's the rumor that Lisandro Martinez might be back and Amarin has been playing it down. But at the end of the day, we'll end up seeing what ends up happening there. But yeah, top of the league, 14 points clear, had a player retire from injury after 3 games in the senior squad. What age was he, dealer? Because I haven't had that happen to me in any of my online saves, any of these saves. The only injury I've ended up having that was bad is I did have an injury of someone getting shot in the head and being out for 2 years as a result of it. I did have that injury occur. I like Shea Lacey. I've been to an under 18 game where he was in it. An awful lot of people have turned around and said that Shea Lacey is the future. So we'll end up seeing what ends up happening with him. Senior Linus, my friend, what's a crack a lacking with you? It's a pleasure to have you in. Is it all going grand with you, my friend? It's a pleasure to have you back in. We're about to end up starting our first game now against Aston Villa. Let's hope we can end up performing good. We still don't have one of our 2 goalkeepers back after them getting hacky sacked to crap by West Ham. Thank you, Benny. I 100% blame you for them knocking 10 shades of absolute crap out of both Tom Heaton and Semi Lamens. I blame you entirely for that, Benny. You're the one who ended up telling them to go out there and absolutely destroy them. Thank you so much for doing the shout out for me, Doc. I appreciate it. Yes, if you do get a chance, my friends, please do have a look at Benny. Fantastic streamer, ends up doing a multitude of variants. But he ends up doing Football Manager as well, and he's currently doing an around the world save with FM23. It's going very well for the man, and he's currently in Canada. I'm not doing too bad, Linus. What version of the game are you going for? Are you just Game Pass on PC, or are you the console version? Because I have heard an incredible amount of... what's the word I'm looking for? Badness from the console version. Bought the game to stream. Happy out! Well, enjoy it when you do, my friend. Enjoy it when you do. The great thing about Football Manager, its community is absolutely amazing to end up getting around with. Post in your stream whenever you end up going live, and I'll see if I can end up popping in. I mean, 23 is a grand old game, but I think if you're going back to one of the earlier FMs, isn't like 21 of the last 10 years probably considered one of the better ones? Doc, you play them, the old school ones, a lot more than me. At the moment, I was just playing 24 because I enjoyed it, and I'm happy with 26. I just wish they got rid of all of the bugs. Now we'll see whether or not that ends up happening as we continue to go on. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about 21. It's been years since I played it, so I don't really remember too much. Maybe on some random stream I might pop 21 up, and we might just have a bit of fun there one evening. But well, for now, we'll end up continuing the way that we were. That was insanely rude. My apologies for that yawn, my friends. Well, it's nice to see that since the game has gone live, the loading screens have improved. Also, currently at the moment, for those of you that care, Rangers are 2-0 down versus Roma. Roma walloping their arse. I know, funnily enough, an awful lot of people have been making a big deal of Benfica's situation with Mourinho and how bad they have been doing. I don't know what you end up stating about that because, like, people who have more interest in the Portuguese league than me have turned around and said that Benfica have signed an awful lot of their players due to the president's election more than what the team ended up needing. So it kind of unbalanced the team. Like, one of the things they badly need is a striker. And with Mourinho being a defensive coach in general, that's a bit of a problem. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Also, Nottingham Forest getting a 0-0 draw is interesting. I would have preferred that to have happened to them last week so that we would have gone in against the game with them with a bit more gusto. But what can you end up doing about that, I suppose? Anthony scoring for Real Betis as well, which is nice to end up seeing. And Aston Villa 1-0 up in their game, so getting back into the groove of things is Unai Emery's squad. But for now, anyways, we're going to go into this game versus our own Aston Villa and see how we end up doing. No motivation for our players, which is concerning, but let's see how all ends up going. Strong side we've put up in our place. We swapped Stellar with Ugarte just to something a wee bit different. They've gone 100% strong. Ollie Watkins, one of their strongest players. We're at 54 points, so we're 2 points off of Man City in order to get into third place. Unfortunately, it's probably too late to challenge with Arsenal for the title. They've probably won that. But for us, we have a chance to end up putting ourselves in better conditions. Ooh, you don't like seeing that, do you? Anyways, let's hope that we end up performing well. 10 minutes in, not much has ended up happening here. Concerning, if we're honest. Maybe the movement of the midfielder to the striker might have been a mistake. We're hoping not, but we'll see. Okay. Ooh, god damn it, game. Eef. Yeah, she's still not running 100% smooth, is she? I have a fairly strong system now, so that seeing chugs like that is not. A goal like that is horrible when you're playing basketball, football. Like, to be fair to John McGinn, it's one hell of a shot. Belinder should do a wee bit better covering himself, but at the end of the day, that's just atrocious. So we have a lot of work to do for ourselves now. Hopefully we can end up getting something out of this because we're not performing particularly well at the moment. They haven't had many chances breakthrough either, but we need to do significantly better. Okay, Martinez straight through there with nothing good coming from him. Bruno. Oh, passing like that to lose you a game. Victor to Brian and Mbeumo. Brian and Mbeumo through. Sesko, no love. Ooh, that's unlucky from Ugarte. Good attempt, though. We're just really sloppy. Ahmad should do significantly better in getting the ball from Heaven's pass. Brian should be hitting that at a particular strong point. Ugate's goal should have went in, but these are just inconsistencies that will cost you a game. Is that Harvey Elliott? Okay, Sesko to Mount. Mount should have passed that down first time, holding the ball a bit too long. Bruno there. Bruno to Ahmad. Ahmad to Sesko. And it's still doing this. So they haven't fixed this either. It tells you immediately that it's a disallowed goal instead of coming up with the VAR check, making this VAR check completely wasted. I mean, this game has updated on me, so let me know if any of these have been patched out and my game's just wrong. Brendan Johnson scoring for Spurs. When was the last time you heard that happening? Wemu getting a card. Okay, Pau Torres to Dengue. And they're going to end up scoring again, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, nice save by Belinder, to be fair to him. I'm not sure what to do here. We need to make a change anyway, so... Dogu from Wemu. Bruno up there. Manu there. And I think we have to do that. Kieran, my friend, how are you finding your Celtic save? Have you kept Casper there? Or will you be looking for a brand new keeper when you end up getting there? Because I haven't looked at his stats, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's surprisingly good. And Ash Day, my friend, how are you doing today? Bad start so far from us 1-0 down versus Villa. We're making a change back to the original formation to hope that things end up working for us. But let's hope we can end up getting something good off of this. So, because we need to perform better in this half. Our main problem is our passing has been atrocious. And then, as you can see there, our shot accuracy has been insane as well. Dogu coming on hasn't made much of a difference for us yet. Harvey Elliott not able to make a menu. Attempted, like... When you see passing like that, what are you meant to do? Manu should have went for a high cross or something like that. That's an atrociously bad pass by Manu. Mount, Sesko, and again, god damn it. It's the second offside goal we're after experiencing, unfortunately. And then in that particular case, how far off is Sesko? I might have sold the wrong, or took off the wrong striker. Not by much. I sold him looking to bring in Gavin Benzou from Southampton for 90 million. Gavin is an okay player. In this game, his potential is not near as good as it was in 24. For a team like Celtic, Gavin's probably a good team for you, to be fair. But there are better options out there for the price point as well. But he'll do a job for you for the moment anyways. I am just starting to play it now. Oh, God. Now, Ashton. And a number of the issues I've noticed before are still occurring. Whether or not that's because it didn't update right or what, I'm not sure. But, yeah, I'm still experiencing a number of issues, unfortunately. And we're going to lose this game because, of course, we are. Best we can hope out of this is a draw. We're just missing far too many shots. 11 shots, 1 on target is a goddamn disgrace. I signed my cousin for 250,000 from his name, Pat. Happy out. Nepotism, you ain't worried about nepotism anyway, my friend. Menu. The Delict to Heaven to Stellar. Okay, passing's okay. Bruno to Heaven. Delict. Martinez. Dogu. Okay. So we scam a goal out of them. We know this counts because it would have come up with no goal, so a waste of a VAR check. We scam a goal out of them there. That line is unbelievable. That line is unbelievable for a VAR check. I'm surprised you even done a VAR check on that line. Scored on his debut against Rangers. That's one hell of a game to give a player a debut, my friend. But happy out to you to end up having your cousin score against Rangers. The Old Firm derby is one of the strongest derbies in all of football, supposedly. So incredible end of seeing how it goes. Yeah, it's going to take a long time for them to fix the game if they ever fix it. Well, if they don't, the one good thing about it is that modders will. Like now that the game is officially released, there's a couple of things that I won't let them away with. Turning around stating that you have the Premier League licensing for jerseys and the whole lot, and then giving the goalkeepers the generic goalkeeper attire instead of giving them the official goalkeeper attire is laziness beyond laziness, because there's no way if you have the entirety of the United jersey licensing, you don't have the goalkeeper's licensing, so you're just being lazy. So the fact that Belinder in this particular game has the generic attire, and the same with Emi Martinez. So like if we look at the goal here, okay, let's not look at the goal considering this page is still absolutely useless. And stuff like that is annoying. We're trying to click on something and it doesn't end up coming up. It is... as things stand, if I'm honest, I might do an updated database and just move back to 24. But we'll see. At the moment, we're going to end up keeping what we're at. But let's go to the match reaction and look at the goal. Crap like this is just stupid. Having to go out of the resource and go back into the resource in order to see goals is daft. What ended up happening, Senior Duck? Has the game screwed you, or is this you commenting on my frustrations? Careful what you press in the press conferences. Ooh, why? What ended up happening to you? Was it a promise that you weren't expecting, or what? And it's nice to know that the generate match report still takes an age and a half, and the Craic forgot to save. So like you can see here with our goal that this is their goal. First of all, bad passing. So Delict up there to Martinez, Doggo to here. This is our goal. So down comes here. You can see Emi Martinez is in the generic grey attire. No Aston Villa logo, no nothing on it. To me, that's a joke. To me, that's a joke. If you have the attires put into place, have the attires put into place and do the full job. Being so lazy as to not do that is annoying. You expect to enter proper negotiations with a new contract. Yep. Joys of that. That's why you have to be careful about it. To be fair to that one, Duck, that's something that was a case in FN24 as well, where you could accidentally promise a contract or playing time or other stuff for people. I gave captain's armband to Johnny Kenny. Interesting choice. How good is he? "22 years of age. He's on loan at Celtic. Have you signed him officially? Oh no, he's out, like he's from Celtic out on loan. Determination is quite high. His leadership is quite low. His teamwork is quite high. I mean, he's not the worst for captain material, but his leadership being low is semi-concerning, if I'm honest, Kieran. It matters quite a lot for your captain for leadership to be high. But hey, what can you do? Yeah, the reviews about the game are a disaster, and it's even worse for the console, even worse for the mobile and touch. I got the touch version, it's awful. Is the mobile version that bad? Because I haven't heard too many bad problems with the mobile version, other than the fact that it's integrated with Netflix, and people are slightly pissy about that. Yeah, I don't care about paying them 3 million. Ahmad's a very good player. And, oh, I forgot we weren't meant to play Lissandro because we were planning on selling him. Ah, screw it. Now that he's there, he's there. Okay. So an unfortunate set of circumstances for us drawing that game, but it's not the end of the world. We won't be using that change in order to see how things are, so we'll see. Don't want to comment on them. Works any favors. We still don't win. It's a wasted opportunity. Has been watching Mason Mount. I'm not going to sell him. Had a good game, no comment. Tactical approach, I just like the style and get out of there. Yeah, based on this, what I've been seeing here, Kieran, he looks decent, Kenny. Just as I was stating, the leadership is semi-concerning, but in terms of a Celtic team that where leadership might be lacking, that's not a bad idea. I am always of the opinion that the goalkeeper is someone that should never be the manager, and I know currently, I believe, IRL, that Casper is their captain. I think ideally, if you're able to do it, perfect for the wow, he's actually surprisingly good. Perfect for the captaincy position is defender. Or centre defensive midfielder, where you're able to project yourself out to every member on the pitch. But yeah. Oh my God, yeah. I know an awful lot of people were getting pissy about that. At the end of the day, when it comes down to GTA 6, I don't mind it getting delayed so that there isn't a cyberpunk situation happening at the moment where the studio is getting death threats. Now, I will say another delay will cause, and even this one might end up causing a situation where Rockstar end up getting death threats, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, I would prefer the game to be good than anything else, especially considering it's going to end up coming out with €100 price tag. And, you know, if people are going to be paying that amount of money, it needs to end up coming down good. Now, the big problem with delaying your game this much and this many times is that if it comes out as a glitchy mess, you have no excuse. So they're making it very hard for themselves, unfortunately. Callum McGregor's the captain. Not too bad. That's a good old option now. Callum McGregor's a fairly good player. Are you keeping Callum McGregor yourself, Kieran? Or are you thinking, oh, we've signed these guys already. We'll watch a bit of this and then we'll potentially end up skipping it. These are the under 18s. Nice. That's very funny. One of the potential youth candidates, because we signed him early, is on the under 18s team. That's very, very funny. We signed a youth candidate before this match because he looked unbelievable. And he's actually on the under 18s team. That's very, very funny. I might be wrong, but the delay might because they had sacked 40 people who leaked the game or something like that. That could be it, Ashday. It wouldn't shock me if it was something like that. They just end up needing to get new people in. At the end of the day, that's not... Wow, okay. I wonder if this is just an academy thing and they haven't ended up looking into it because they don't particularly care about this game. But that, I can't pause it either. That's hilarious. You can't pause the game that you're watching. That's very funny that you can't pause a game that you're watching. I don't know if that's the case in the original in FM24. I don't typically watch these games. I just didn't have an option to scout it. But the fact that you can't pause a game that you're watching is interesting. But look at this. That's a joke. I know they don't care because when are you gonna go up a team with that long of a condensed name? But like, come on, guys. Also, this is a lie because I'm literally watching the game, so this should be at least one. I can understand that being 0 if I'm not here and it's literally just the regular staff, but I'm literally watching the game, so the amount of people in the stadium should be 1 because I'm not here as a manager. I'm here as a spectator, so it should be a 1. Should be at least 1. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, actually, I think it should be a good game, GTA 6. My big problem, maybe that's it. I mean, it technically is behind closed doors, Duck, because it's literally just a Manchester United under 18 versus youth candidate, so it is a behind closed door game, and I'm being bonkersly facetious. I'm joking my ass off here that that there should be numbers on this. It's right that it's 0 because there is no fans watching this game. Also hilarious, the youth candidates are up. There's no fans watching this game, so 0 is right. I'm being an ass. I'm being a complete, asshole. But at the end of the day, it's just funny. I into the Champions League. Well, congratulations to that. Have you gotten past the past the league phases yet? Duck, I always want some crack. Back to FM Touchy. FM Touchy. Ooh, what a name. FM Touchy. I am playing. I can't even select what player I want to have on the bench. Sign some players for nothing. Damn. Damn. That's... Oh. And what's really, really funny about Touch Breaking is Touch is an entirely different development studio. Even though it's in association with Sports Interactive, it's not Sports Interactive that are the main developers of Touch. They actually outsource most of Touch in order to do stuff. So it's hilarious that that game is broken as well. That's a showcase of just incredible mismanagement, based on my understanding of the Touch development, by the way. I'm not going to die on that hill. But, holy crap. I'm half tempted to sign this goalkeeper. Like, look at this performance. Look at this performance. They're getting destroyed. Even though his potential is crap, I'm half tempted to sign Hart. I'll give it a. It used to be when it was a PC game. Yeah. No, I know it used to be part of Sports Interactive. And correct me if I'm wrong. If it is now developed mainly by Sports Interactive, I 100% take back what I ended up stating there. But to my knowledge, Touch is outsourced, which makes the mistake of Touch another showcase of insane mismanagement. But with that being said, Kick, my friend, what is a crack-a-lacking with you? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going delicious? It's a pleasure to have you in. How have you been finding Football Manager 26 yourself? We're currently watching a youth game that I probably should skip, but I'm interested in it at the moment. And we're arguing over the fact that the Old Trafford training centre states that no one is watching it when I'm literally watching the game. So it doesn't count me, the vicious bastardo. But yeah. Already 50 hours in, it could have been way better. I mean, that's the main thing about it. Anyone turning around saying it's unplayable, it's not unplayable, but it's not acceptable either, in my opinion. Mainly because this is 3 years' work, and it's very, very, very obviously built on the carcass of 24. If it was blatantly obvious that this was a brand new database and brand new database management needed to be put into place to make the database work more smoothly, to make everything connect better, that they had to go into their actual database control, build it from the ground up and fix it up that way, I would end up having more support for how things are going. Effectively, for me, this is almost just a skin for 24 and not good enough for the 3 years they've done. Now, that's also not how game development ends up working, so that statement's me being too mean. But the meanness of that statement comes around to a fact of how there isn't as much development in this particular type of game as would otherwise be stated. Like, the actual main element of quote-unquote development they would have done is this match engine, and this match engine is not acceptable for 3 years worth of work. Someone ended up posting up a screenshot of a game back in 09, and I can't remember the name of the Football Manager game in 09 that had a match engine that matched this in terms of graphics. In fact, it had the camera that some people are putting in there, where it follows the referee and follows elements like that. This looks like a PS2 match engine. And as I stated, the jerseys aren't good enough. It's nice to have the Manchester United jersey, but the fact that the goalkeepers don't have the official jersey is an element of laziness that I'm not going to let up on. When you have the license, use the entirety of the license, even though you need to make a new graphic for each individual goalkeeper. Yes, it means that for one player of each of the 20 people in it, you need to make a unique asset for it, and that's fine. But you chose to implement in the official graphics. Don't be lazy, you know? So yeah. How are Basel in your save, Karen? Because Basel are an interesting team that sometimes find very good players. I do feel sorry for the youth candidates there too, because the youth candidates done much better than things end up looking. Also, Kieran Connor, thank you so much for the follow. It is a pleasure to have you in. We're lurking friendly, so if you don't want to chat, feel free to lurk or chat away. We're willing to end up having conversations. We're willing to end up having the crack as we end up continuing on with the game and being a whiny bitch. We're another 2 weeks away from getting either of our two goalkeepers back, so that's interesting. It's me from TikTok, lad. Oh, it is. Not too bad. Pleasure to have you in, my friend. You know, you never know every now and again when people end up coming in. But pleasure to have you in. Free to be on either channel, my friend. It's you, case in point, with the multi-streaming, I'm able to keep an eye. And me staying that has now blown the algorithm the crap, so nobody else from TikTok is going to end up seeing the stream. But hey, who cares? There we go. Immediately TikTok whinges about me not connecting properly. Give us a second. But it's a pleasure to have you in, my friend. Now you get to hear crap like this.
Off is a direction you can fuck.
Yes, but we've signed a couple of the good people of youth that are already there. I even though he's not worth it, I'm actually tempted to sign that goalkeeper because he looks very, very good. Also, Fransulio, they have been awfully mean to you. They picked an image that makes you look bored as hell. You poor man. Anyway. Yes, we could nick Lewis from West Ham. He wouldn't be a bad shout. We have a couple of scouting reports up to try and find good wonder kids, which is the reason why we're getting these recommendations in at the moment. So anyway, Kieran, in your Celtic save, how much money did they end up giving you for the season that you're in there? Have they been anyways kind to you in the way that we've been going down? You see, this is the type of thing that boggles the mind too. Lewis Bradbury has been performing exceptional on the under 18s. Now, again, the stats are horrible because it doesn't tell me his under 18s situation. But based on just watching and looking at it, he's been performing phenomenal. This is his third attempt at having a hat-trick, but his potential ability means that he's not worth it. At the end of the day, the star system has always never really mattered, and they can actually end up getting to something, but is it worth putting in the investment for someone like that? It's hard to know. And what's really, really annoying about that is that potential ability can increase. In the back end, his stats can't, but that star system can, which is, you know... I got a care package from my girlfriend on Tuesday when FM came out. She's definitely the one. Yeah, I'm not successful enough as an FM streamer to be one of the people that ended up getting the gift from Sports Interactive of the nice looking jersey, the tactics board, and then the book to end up taking into account all of your tactical research and improvements. I wasn't one of those individuals. To be fair, it looks like a nice package. If that's one of the things Sports Interactive should have actually done, they should have been selling that particular package on a website for anyone that wanted it and not just giving it to random streamers. Because that's one of the things that it does look like. It does look like they're favoring their favorite streamers quite heavily, doesn't it? Okay. They're just after signing someone interesting there. So let's have a look at him. Loan move for you. Scout you anyway. I know Newcastle will want an arm and a leg if you're any good, but still, scout him just to see what he's like. Is, like, that seems very low for them, if I'm honest. That seems like a very... Like, it could be accurate in IRL. I'm not 100% sure, but that seems a very, very low 500,000 for the first season with Celtic. Like, have Celtic made some big signings that warrant that to end up going down? Like with United on this first season, when you start with them, you only have 11 million. And you need to sell some players in order to get some stuff because of the signings of Brian Mbeumo, Semi Lemons, Matthias Cunha, Benjamin Sesko. It's also very funny that if you started before those saves are done, there isn't a chance you're getting those deals done either. But yeah. Ooh, Destiny has re-signed for Spurs, which now means I almost guarantee you he's worth what? 100 million? Oh, he's not yet. Interesting. Oh, Destiny might be an option, so. The fact that Kone is only playing for under 21s of Wolves is actually pissing me off to an insane degree. But hey, he's getting some time, at least. Tierney is their only big signing, is it, Karen? Yeah, then that budget seems a bit crap. Well, like we're favourites for it. Although we're playing the FM Cup first. A. No. Wow, I'm having a brain fart. What is the name of the cup? Carabao Cup and the FA. Yeah, FA. Football Association Cup. Yeah, FA. Joys of having a tit out there. No bother, kicker. A bit. The 3-week Minecraft phase has started in the friend group. Not too bad, but you have to let me know what you ended up building, Kick. I don't have the patience to do Minecraft, nor the creativity to do the builds properly. But it is fantastically fun when you have a couple of people doing that. So please enjoy it. And lurk, as we said before, lurking is 100% acceptable. And pop back in anytime you want to, my friend. Is Fafana worth it? Malik Fafana? Probably not at the end of the day, but he's not too bad. What type of glitches have you been noticing, Kieran? In general, a couple of the ones that I have been mentioning before still are recurring, but it hasn't been too bad glitch-wise. I mean, the new color change for the attributes is nice to make it more distinct as to when they're good versus when they're great. To make that more pop is nice. Although I do see some people have it in blue and green, which is nicer than the orange and green I have. You know, that's fighting over tidbits. Ooh, okay. Hector Ford. Wow, Hector. Barcelona player, 100 million price tag. I mean, you look good, Hector. But crikey, are you overpriced? Ilix. Why doesn't it shock me that Ilix is being sold? A kid that in FM23, his potential is off the chart, being up for being sold for 30 million doesn't shock me. Hey! That's what you want if you can play counter-attacking football like that, Kieran, and end up getting a good result out of it. That's the route you want to end up going, getting a good result such as that. So, you take the goods with the bads, and even if you are being dominated in a particular way such as that, you just happily end up going with the result you end up having. And just hope that they don't end up getting a jammy goal off of you. Now. Now comes the decisions. This is actually the Premier League game, not the Cup game. So we need to be somewhat clever about this. Buemo's just been shite. Konya hasn't been much better, so I think we have to go with this and see how things go. Lenny Yoro isn't back yet. He's fit, but he's not back yet, so we're not going to try it. So I think we go with this team here. And we see how we do. Back-to-back games versus Bournemouth. So coming out of the bounce on this first one in good nick is something you really want to end up having. We have a trip to Turkey next versus Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce will be a strong team to go up against as well, so that'll be an interesting one to end up seeing results for, Kieran. So good luck when it comes down to that. Let us know how that ends up going. As we go into Bournemouth now for our first of two games. Is Julian? Julian's not fit. Ooh. Ooh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, well, Dogu instead of Julian, so I'm not sure why Julian isn't fit. Right. I shall look at him, Ashday. Last time I had a look at him, I'm not sure Fran was that good. It's also not appearing for me, which is annoying. Javi isn't that right. Who does he play for? Fran Garcia. Fran Garcia. Current team is Real Madrid. Oh, I think it's because I'm spelling it wrong. Yeah, spelling it wrong. I mean, he's fine. He's not great, but he's fine. He's good attributes for being on the wing. In his pace and his speed, so his attacking mentality is fairly grand. But his crossing is fairly good. I mean, for a 26-year-old, he's actually not that bad. He's actually not that bad. He wouldn't be an actually bad backup option for us, but he'd just be a backup option. If we were to sign him, we'd be signing him as nothing more than a impact sub. And we'd want him for half that salary. So he's not someone we'd be looking at, Ashday, but he's not bad. Why are you not able to play him? Is that just a bug of the game, or? Well, hopefully you're able to jimmy another goal out of it, Kieran. We have to play Arsenal City as well. Yeah, you mightn't be getting out of the league phase, my friend. But he's not bad backup if you can get him for an okay salary point. You wouldn't want to be paying more than 40k in the salary, though. He's not good enough to warrant that, unfortunately. But if you could get him for 40,000, then yeah, you'd be going around. If you got him for 40,000 euro a week or less than that, he's a valid backup, and you'd basically be looking at your team going. I think when it comes down to wrestling too, maybe Penta's Pyro is starting to equal Batista's Pyro there. And he's so over the top too. It's hilarious because he has to be spending the guts of 100,000 Pyro. Oh, Bayern. I mean, in the world at the moment, Bayern have to be one of the best teams in the world at the moment. Like IRL. Although I heard someone say something very funny. And, like, it's hard to argue it. But I'm not sure I can 100% agree on it either. Someone turned around there and said that Vincent Kompany at Bayern Munich has proven himself to be a good manager. I'm not sure his time at Bayern Munich has done that, because I legitimately think with how strong that Bayern Munich squad is and how good Harry Kane is performing at the moment, you could put a monkey into that bloody position and they would end up performing well. You could put a slug into that position and it'd end up doing well. You could put an Irish politician into that position that'd probably end up doing well. So I'm not sure that's a showcase that he's a good manager, but I liked his work at Burnley. But the person who I was looking at turned around and said he might be the only manager of his skin color that is good at the moment in terms of in the world, which is a incredible, interesting point, and I'm not sure I stand by it, although I don't know any other ones. We'll see what Catherine Connolly ends up doing, Kieran. I would say even she might find it hard to end up doing well at Bayern Munich. She'll just end up fighting for the banks to end up taking all of the bloody money. Anyways, ooh, glitch. Nice. Wait till you see, too. Semenya will probably end up scoring against us because this game loves to just screw us. Okay, so our shot accuracy is already better than the last game because our first shot actually was on target. XG is a major problem for us. We're just not doing good enough XG-wise as well. Okay. Delict now. To Martinez. Delict. To Shaw. Nice, Mazraoui. Not the best crosser, but still. Petrovic with the palm off. Sesko almost should have a goal there. Galatasaray aren't the worst in the world, except for the fact that they have... it's Galatasaray that have Victor Osimhen, right? Delict. Nice clearance, I suppose. Yeah, you didn't get a nice league phase. Did you get anyone who isn't a top team, top 50 in the world team? Ooh, Mount. To Bruno. To Sesko. Through to Mount. Mount to Bruno. You have to feel sorry for Petrovic there. You have to feel very, very sorry for Petrovic there. Mount takes the ball, does very well with it, runs with it over there. Completely Jimmy's number 3, who does nothing to help himself. Comes down there to Bruno, who nicks the ball. It bounces directly off of their defender, who is number... Show me the number, show me the number, show me the number, show me the number, show me the number. No, of course it didn't. Why would it? Why would it show me the number? So a massive deflection for Bruno's goal. But at the end of the day, we ended up doing okay off of that. It's their Truffet. So massive deflection off of Truffet for that goal. But, you know, you take everything you have, and nice work from them. Corner that's dangerous now. Alex Scott doing well there with the turn. Can we get another goal? Because, you know, you don't get comfortable until you're at least 2 goals up, but 2 goals is the most dangerous score in all of football. Why would we remove get stuck in? We don't even have that many cards. Free kick just outside of the box. Christie, now can you score this? Berlinder isn't the best at saving free kicks, but not a bad old save attempt from Berlinder, even though it hit the crossbar. Petrovic is a weakness for them, so we should be able to get through, if we're able to get through at all and challenge Petrovic. Again, now our shot accuracy is becoming an issue. Wow, okay, that scared the crap out of me for a second. Shaw to Manu, good passing work. What? You absolute piece of fecal matter. What a time to stop the game there where we're starting an attacking formation. Oh my God, that is mean by the ref. But in terms of that half, that hasn't been a bad performance by us. I don't think it can be equated as a good performance, though, which is the big thing about it, unfortunately. But with that being said, we're in control at the moment, and we can continue onwards. So shout at them saying we're not happy. And with that, we're taking Shaw off. Shaw for Maguire. And we'll go with that change, and we'll see how things end up going. As anyone who loses focus after a talk is horse manure. Also, Ben Dokes, who is a surprisingly good player for his time in this. Now, he's always had good potential. Even in FM24, Dokes had phenomenal potential. Manu. Oh. And Dogu losing focus there as well. It is quite taboo It is quite taboo for a United manager to potentially go in for a former Liverpool player. But stats-wise, Doak is actually a surprisingly good player and worth the punt, although he's performing atrocious for them so far. So we might consider it and go in for him, but that'll be summer Craic's problem, even if we do even stay in the summer. Stellar to Mount straight up to Dogu. Manu, calm yourself. You have to do better in your passing than that. I won't lie, in terms of this team, Manu's passing is an issue. In most of these highlights, Manu is one of the ones that's passing is a problem, and what was that by Bruno? That type of shot is infuriating. Interesting. They're getting more momentum out of this game than we'd like. And we'll make a couple of subs now. I think he's not too tired. So I think we're going to move Bruno down here. Okay? It might actually be more of an option from now on to keep Bruno down there and move Manu up here as an alternative option, but we're not going to try that now. Manu has ran his course. So we're going to put Brian Mbeumo on for Manu, mainly because he needs the glint of good performances. Otherwise, I'd be putting Brian Mbeumo where Mazraoui is. But for now, we're taking Mazraoui off and putting Ahmad on. And De Ligt needs a bit of a break, so we're going to put Aiden Heaven on. We're going to put Aiden Heaven on, but we're going to move Maguire with Aiden Heaven. I know that that's kind of a bad move in general to make a double kind of movement into the defensive orientation like that, but this isn't an actual game, so we don't need to worry about it too much. Ruben Amorim does the whole time for United, and I think it's a legitimate problem moving players on the pitch out of their positions slightly over. I think comfort comes when you know your positionings. But in this particular case, it doesn't matter in this game, I don't think. But to be fair to Maguire, he's performing good. So he might have earned himself a place more permanently in the next game. Now, a 1-0 result in the Premier League is a nice result. The FA Cup is important for us as well, so we want to get a good performance out of that if we can. I mean, saying that we're in control of the game is fine, but like 13 shots, 4 on target, that they're 12 shots, 7 on target is not good enough. Our shot target is not good enough. I mean, with the games you have, Kieran, it'll be hard to get 8 to 10 points off of it, if I'm honest. But there's always a chance, so just pray and hope that it ends up going well. So a 1-0 win in the Premier League versus them is grand, but I'm not happy with that performance. We're going to shout at them, which hopefully will give us more momentum for the next time that we end up going in. I don't care about giving that for De Ligt. De Ligt has been a phenomenal performance for us. Same for Ahmad, even though it is 3 million. And how many times do we have to pay that? I'm almost positive we paid that already to Atalanta. By the way, do Atalanta have any good players on their squad at the moment? Edison, I suppose. Adam Luckman is already, unfortunately, moving to Arsenal. Phenomenal signing for them based on how he looks. They have Yunus Malasha at the moment, although he's only at loan. Charles Lecatelara, one of my favourites, but we want to try and poke him. Honest is actually quite an interesting poke. He looks interesting. We need a bit more scouting on him, but Honest isn't actually a bad out shout. And Scalvini is always a good shout if you can get him for cheap. Although I don't think we will get him for cheap, so Scalvini might be left on the wayside as a potential option for us. Bordeaux is probably the easiest one to get. Fenerbahce will be an interesting situation. Hopefully you can get something good out of Fenerbahce. And Galatasaray, I'm not sure now, Kieran. Galatasaray are a very good team. What a bunch of useless questions. It's blatantly off. That's funny. What? Did it get moved? No. Yeah, no. Weird. Weird. Oh, it's because we have an international break. I was wondering what the hell was going on there. Horrible time for an international break, too. I might just park the bus against City, Arsenal, and Madrid. It's an option, Karen. You have been hit nasty with injuries, you poor fools. But, I mean, do you change your style of play is the big question. Is it right to change your style of play? I mean, whatever ends up working for you, go with. But is it right to change your style of play? I've heard some people say who've looked at this game. Also, by the way, is that official yet? Because I haven't looked at it. How much is it? €9 for the in-game editor, because of course it is. I was bloody wondering how much they were going to charge for that. It's more expensive than last year. Okay. Groupie's an interesting one because people have turned around. Yeah, €9. It was €8. It was €8 last year, to my recollection. I might be wrong on that, but I'm almost positive it was €8 last year. Maybe it's cheaper. I think it's more expensive. It's not a hill I'm willing to die on, to be honest. €9 is still too much money for it. Yeah. Screw it. I'll get it later on. I'm not going to be using it today anyway. But it's just nice to have it. Yeah, but Croupie, I've heard people say the Croupie's meant to have a very good potential, even though in my scouting report, he's not that good in comparison to some of the other ones that we've had before. I think just do a scout again, just in case it changes. But we'll see. I like Croupie. Croupie's one of the ones I typically ended up going for in the past. But as I stated, Ben Dokes looks surprisingly good. And we'll see how the scout ends up working on him, because he might be a poke for us later on. But let's get through the international break now and see how things end up going. Ooh, we might be getting money for Van de Beek. A genuinely shocking United signing who should have been significantly better than he actually was. Oh. Huh. You know, €12 and €14 for the Sonic Frontiers Digital Deluxe Edition is actually very, very good value, because that's not a bad game. They just needed to do more world design for that to feel proper, but that's really not a bad price for that game. For anyone who wants a bit of mindless fun for maybe bloody 16 hours, I'd highly recommend you go and you get Sonic Frontiers. Ooh. The Amex Stadium, Brighton bet Liverpool. Interesting. 90k from Girona for Donny van de Beek. Euro should be back for the next game, which is nice. I switched to wingbacks to play Fenerbahce. I mean, that's an interesting choice, my friend. I am one of the few people that thinks that wingbacks are bonkersly hard to get working. Which is the reason why I do wingers out of spite, even though for this formation, wingbacks would be significantly better. No bother, Senior Duck. Thank you so much for coming in. As of this moment in time, I'll be live again tomorrow, Duck. However, just so you know for yourself, I'm more than likely going to be doing Shin Megami Tensei 5 tomorrow, just to go back into it for a bit. If that doesn't suit you, that's 100% sound, but just to let you know about it. It's been one of those weeks for me as well where just whatever about it, my energy is just gone. So I 100% understand it. But please do get some sleep. Look after yourself, my friend. And we'll chat again in the very near future. So make sure your crack is 90. And as always, poke my home, my friend. Oh, Mohamed Kudus is getting the win for Tottenham. Interesting. Nice little situation for Tottenham there. See, this is where I need to figure out how to do this. Getting the likes of a youngster like that and being able to poke brand new signings. As brand new signings like this, Murphy, and go into people as they're having their trials would be bonkersly useful if we were able to end up figuring out how to do it. Ooh, Ruben Amorim's performing great with Everton. A win over Celtic. Wow, Jarrett Brantwaite playing his way as well. And Kone having a good performance in the under 21s of Wolves. Still bothering me a massive amount that's happening, but whatever. Okay. Mora, interesting. Who are you, my friend? Oh, who are you going to? Paris Saint-Germain. God damn it. That looks like a genuinely good signing for PSG. That looks like a genuinely good signing. I wish I'd known about him before this. That's a genuinely good signing for a 17-year-old. He's going to be very, very, very good for them. Eduardo Camavinga, always one of the best in his position, but you're spending 200 million for him. I adore Eduardo Camavinga. I'd love to get him. Absolutely love to get him. And who knows, we might try a poke in summer if we're keeping with the save, but we'll see. Playing 5-2-3. Also, Fenerbahce lost their first game. Well, just hope that things end up going well for you, my friend. It's just chancy to try a brand new formation against a team like that. But hey, let's hope it ends up going well for you, Kieran. Okay. Matthias Albert, youth signing, looks fairly good. His jumping reach shouldn't be too big of a problem for him, considering the position that he's in. His crossing should improve a wee bit. His determination. I like getting youngsters with a determination of 15 or higher, but he doesn't look bad there. So we'll do more scouting on him, add him to the shortlist, which we might end up making more shortlists in order to differentiate people out a bit more. But add him to the generic shortlist for now. And we might try and get him later on, because he looks like a genuine poke. Carl Etta Young, 30 million, 22 years of age. He looks grand, but not enough at 22. Croupy, not too bad. New scouting report on him improves him a bit. And, yeah, okay. Interesting. Victor Adiallo. Mark Guehi own goal for Palace before he pisses off to Saudi. First minute send off by João Palhinha. I'm sorry. I'm very harsh on red cards in general when it comes down to this game. I try to limit your time when you end up getting a direct red card, unless I outright need you, Bruno. But a 1 minute into the game, red card, you probably wouldn't be seeing the matchday squad for weeks. Also, City getting Galerio is very, very interesting. In most of my FM24 saves, Galinio, or however you pronounce him, typically, ironically, goes to Palace. So interesting to see him there. They had 2 own goals, the poor fools. Constantinos Karas. Interesting. He looks good. For 60 million, though, he doesn't look good enough. Annoyingly. He doesn't look good enough for 60 million. You'd almost want that release clause to go away before you consider him. That's one when they're that much that I definitely want the determination to be high. Because I find development of players hard at the best of times. Like in the FM24 save, we had a particular player known as Joaquin. Joaquin had great potential, but we kept him and we just weren't able to get enough out of Joaquin. We sent him to Man City for 1 season and then just his stats boomed like nothing I've seen, which was bonkers considering we had the best training facility, the best staff, in order to achieve him actually developing good versus us. So yeah, we dominated, scored a goal, but offside. That's unfortunate, Kieran. I think the thing that annoys me most about the offside situation is just the how it kills the levity right now. With the fact that you know it's an offside immediately. There's no wonder. It just immediately tells you there's an offside at the current moment in time. I genuinely am bothered by it. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're just waiting on a load now. Oh, Galinio getting an injury now for City. Interesting. International roundup. We only had 1 player properly on the international roundup. 4-3 win at the Old Trafford Training Centre versus Newcastle Youth. Is there anyone in the Newcastle Youth of actual usefulness? No, not really. We shall scout you because you actually seemed okay in the game. And like poking players from the like other teams is hard to do, genuinely. They normally end up costing an arm and a leg, but you chance your arm with what you see and go that way. That hair, oh my god, that is If I seen that's the type of hair where you bully the person for having it. I genuinely don't know how they've gotten the hair so bad. God, I wish we were able to notice some of these youths. Some of these youths before they ended up poking through. Okay. So ability-wise, the person that's recommending the most is Morgan Rogers. Well, that's horse manure. It is Matoma, but both of them are too old. Genuinely. Morgan Rogers, an okay poke at 23 years of age. Genuinely would be an okay signing. Matoma has been brilliant for Brighton this season, but 28 years of age is too old. 22 years of age for Matthias Solé. Interesting choice. Genuinely might have a poke at you in the summer. It'll depend on our budget after we end up finishing the season and whether or not we win a cup. I love getting this player, although 90 million is significant, or 80 million is significantly too much for him. He typically ends up running the squad for you fairly well after the fact. Balde is a very, very good signing, specifically there. Like he would do the Patrick Dogu job phenomenally well for you. But again, is one of those cases of his just package is bonkersly over what you'd be willing to spend. Gavi as well, definitely someone you have to consider. Like legitimately in terms of Gavi, you'd almost be better sacrificing Menu to get Gavi if you could. Like if you were able to do a deal where you swap Menu for Gavi, that's actually a deal. As sad as it is to state, that's a deal that's worth it. Gavi and Pedri are two like bonkers level players in the way that they're ended up being set up. Levi Colwell has probably been done a little dirty, if I'm honest. I know he's been injured for quite a while, IRL, and as a result of which, that's probably why the database management has put him down a bit lower than he is. But Levi Colwell still is considered probably a future England like international captain. Enric, I always love. However, I noticed something interesting about Enric earlier on, and I don't know where to see the stat here. He doesn't have great jumping reach, which is fascinating. However, where is it? I don't see it. Okay, I don't know where to find it anymore, but the thing with Enric, yeah, the thing with Enric is he's 5'8". He's bloody tiny. He's tiny. And with the way that we've started to change the game, our game, where we're actually doing more crosses in, he probably wouldn't be the best person for our particular squad. With that being said, he has one of the top potentials of anyone in the game. You can't not look at Enric and think there's potential there, because there definitely is. But for our squad, it's interesting as to whether or not it's worth the poke. Give us a second now. Yes, this was one we wanted to look at. MADS Mads Beck Soren. He's old-ish, but he's not a bad old poke. Ooh, game. Ooh, game. No, I think we might have... I haven't saved it in a bit either.
Oh, no. No, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Okay, let's just hope that it doesn't continue to be broke. I think she might be broke.
Yep. Completely frozen. God damn it. Crikey. And you know what ends up happening here, my friends? Bear with us. Bear with us. Bear with us. The joys. Absolute joys of that. Oh, genuinely, that would make you want to quit. Genuinely, that would make you want to quit. That's infuriating. Especially on an official release, too, to end up having a crash like that. Well, soft lock, not a crash, technically. But to be fair, I connotate a soft lock as a bloody crash. I'm sorry. Maybe that's me being too mean, but screw you. You have to reset the game, don't they? Okay, and we should be back. I say as it becomes a black screen.
Oh. If this is before the Bournemouth game, I'm simming it until we win it, by the way. No. Thankfully, we've gotten through that. So we're just in the international break. So we haven't actually missed too much, thankfully, which is nice. I suppose I should end up... that's bad. I suppose I should end up asking... Sorry about that, Karen. That was me blowing a capillary. 3-1 at full time. Was it 3-1 to you? Was it 3-1 to them? How did the result end up turning out for you, my friend? I suppose one of the things you can try to do is set someone as your top target, which could potentially unsettle them enough where they're a genuine attempt for you to get. With that being the case, considering he is the best of the youth by a wide margin, we could try and declare Gavi as the top target and see if it unsettles Barcelona at all. I have no idea why it would. It is bonkersly unlikely to make a difference. But at the same point in time, we're as well try it and see what ends up happening. Then I'll look at the suggestions that Ash Day, our good friend, has put into the chat. Feel free to say no to the answer to this question, but I have a tendency to call people senior or madame in front of their names just to be a pompous, smarmy arsehole, which is why you end up hearing me called senior duck or senior up or anything like that. So you'll probably end up hearing me call senior Karen at some point in time. Ashday, I should ask, is yours senior or madame, or do you just want me to continue to go with Ashday and not be a cultured arsehole? Yeah, Matthias Sull is probably one we might end up going for a poke. I mean, look at Levi Colwell as well. Yeah, losing to them is unfortunate, but as you were saying, at least you got a goal out of it, Karen. So it's not the end of the world that the result ended up going that way. It's just annoying, unfortunately. So I think the rest of your games are harder, unfortunately, than the one you just ended up going up to. So I'd say you'd be lucky to walk away with points in your league phase. I'd say you might get to the playoff stages, but it's a hard poke, my friend. A hard poke to do it. Interesting. Okay, now let's look at them from potential point of view. Enric Lucas Bergiel. I have seen someone, by the way, go, and I've seen Lucas be sold for 300 million because the game is bonkers sometimes with this. No bother, Senior Ashday. Pleasure to end up getting that response back. You are a gent and a scholar. Seni Malou might be one we nick from Paris Saint-Germain too. He looks interessante. Interessante. And Andres Santos is interesting. IRL, I think he's a star. In this game, he's not worth the poke. Genuinely. Membe is another one that is typically worth the poke. I don't like his initial stats here. He does have phenomenal potential to grow in terms of the world of FM. I don't like his initial stats here to be worthy of doing it, even though it is only 15 million. He's not one I would end up going for now myself. Adam Wharton is one we'll definitely end up taking into consideration now, even though he's 100 million. Now, the actual reason we'd be keeping an eye on Adam Wharton, more so than the price tag, is the English nationality, to ensure we don't have an issue of running out of English nationals. Now, I look at the suggestions you ended up putting up there in a second, Ashday. There are just a few suggestions I need to look at first. So one of them was the Stan Satprio. You are meant to be a poke and a half. So scout you, shortlist you, and we'll see how things end up coming out. Even the initial stats having 3 potential 20s is particularly good. In the same team, we have Dalit. Ooh, who are you? Well, this wasn't the one I was looking at, but we'll scout you as well. Okay. Daulet Oryn Basar. Really? Okay, interesting. Oh, okay. Weird. Must be because I don't have Kazakhstan properly loaded. Okay, fair enough. Then the other one was Emir UNU. There you are, the Ajax kid. You're meant to be surprisingly good, so we'll give you a scout as a potential striking option to bring in. Now, we have searched up Francisco before, but Francisco, well, you're already there as one of our options, but you, Camarada at Lecce, on loan. Yep. Yep. And then one that I typically end up signing just because I like him is Harry Gray at Leeds, who we'll scout again, and to be honest, more than likely we'll sign just because of the English nationality as well. Then you have Jadon Dans, who I believe is still with Liverpool, so the chances are, yeah, nothing. Okay, so you were talking about a Baron Osman at Bayern Munich. Need a scout to see whether or not he's any of use to us. I am not going to try and pronounce any of the rest of these names, Senior Ashday, because I will butcher them 10 shades to crap. You haven't shown up for me. Who are you with? You are a Uruguayan? No, Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan. Interesting. I don't think I have him loaded. So we can't find him. Interesting. You are at Atletico Pampacao, so we shall scout you. And then our last individual is here. Cool. So 3 out of 4 ain't a bad old poke. Although we'll see. I don't like that initial stats from him. Now, with those particular bits we've done there, we'll save immediately just in case the game decides to bug the hell out again on me. By the way, James Garner might be in his last contract here. I really like James Garner. He's one of the ones I wish we didn't sell. James Garner and obviously Alvaro Fernandez. I liked for Alvaro Fernandez when we had him, and I genuinely like. There's a big discussion to be had about Alvaro Fernandez and why we sold him. I think at the time that we sold him, there is an. No, he's on 29, so maybe they've re-signed him, Ashday. But he's in his contract range anyway. But Alvaro Fernandez, the interesting thing with Alvaro is at the time that we sold him, I think we kind of had to, because to me, Alvaro had the Garnacho problem of being too frail. I think now he's built himself up. He's a bit more bulky than he was when he was with United. And Dustley, he's a far better option if he was to come back to us. Ironically, I think the 1 year away from us ended up giving him the benefit in the world. But winning Championship Player of the Year is the reason why you don't sell anyone. It's the reason why we didn't sell Ahmad, and now he's in the team and he's actually phenomenal. So that's what's really annoying about that more than anything else. But I mean, you can't look in the past and he's gone now. So we just need to be more cognizant of the players we have in the academy now. Like, one of the players we need to be careful about is Obi Martin. Make sure that Obi actually isn't pissed off and ends up leaving at the end of his contract after falling out of the first team. Considering it's blatantly obvious Joshua Zirkzee is going to get sold, I'd be putting Obi into the team on the bench and just dropping Joshua completely. Now, with that being said, you also need to get some publicity for your goddamn players so you can end up selling them. So there is that conversation to be had as well. But I know we don't have extra games, but Obi does need more time around the first team. That's one of the big problems with us being out of the Carabao Cup. Ooh, we have the list. Okay, I wanted this. Cool. So we scout these books immediately. Of course you're in it. At your 100 million quid. Lenny Yamal is first. Quenda, who's I was going to say, who's a Chelsea player but loaned over to them. Ethan Wanieri. Luca Brogman. Interesting. Okay, well, we're scouting him as a goalkeeper. The fact that a goalkeeper is 8th is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers, a goalkeeper at 8. So we might end up looking at that. By the way, you said you would love to sign Camavinga. I saw on someone's save, it's like and he's absolutely world-class, better than Camavinga in my opinion. Yeah, he is. He's a phenomenal player. In terms of the base game, in terms of the database, he, in theory, has the 3rd highest potential. But he is absolutely bonkersly expensive to get. Now, with that being said, we might try and do a poke. Because why not? But one of the reasons why I love Eduardo Camavinga is Eduardo Camavinga's versatility. He can play in so many different roles. It's kind of nutty. The fact that he can play as a left back is genuinely particularly high up there. This is one that annoys me because in real life, Napan is a United supporter. And genuinely has good support, but there's no way City would end up selling him. I'm actually kind of surprised Jay is up here because, like, in development point of view, Jay is hard to get developed up right. Boston Mastantino doesn't surprise me. We got Julian, so we have a person in our squad that's in that particular point of view. I genuinely like Boston Mastantino and hate that Real Madrid ended up getting him. Hate with a passion that Real Madrid ended up getting him. Alvaro Morta, interesting. So another scout here. Argentinian playing for... Oh, no. So we have an Argentinian that we might end up getting there. Plays for Bot. Okay. Honest, who we've scouted before and are thinking about getting. Francisco Camarda, we know. Enoch. Just because of Enoch Burke, I'm half tempted to sign you, Enoch, from AZ. So we will scout you and have a crack as see whether or not you're good. I think the scouting might be false on this one. Because you genuinely look like you might be a shout. Christopher Cups, we could take him just to end up bringing an American into the place to spite Senior Benny. Just to showcase how to develop a proper American. You know. Just to show how a proper American ends up being showcased by the tutelage of Senior Craic. To show how an American can be developed. Considering that the Major League Soccer doesn't do a good old job. And the only proper development that the MLS has ever ended up bringing onto the world is... You shouldn't have bothered mentioning that for a minute there, Benny, because you knew the setup was coming. you should have waited 2 minutes. We're currently scouting Quinton Sullivan, and we don't have enough information on him, Benny. But he might be a shout for us. At 22 years of age, he's under the threshold of where he's useful for development points, because you actually need to give a squad place, and we might be struggling on the lines of where squad is important. It's the reason why I like nicking these type of youths. Unfortunately, he's already signed to Paris Saint-Germain. They got a goddamn steal there. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. If you want to talk about it, Benny, please give me a message in or out of chat, and we'll happily discuss it. If it makes you feel any better, West Ham are still a bunch of arseholes that have knocked 3 of my players out who haven't returned yet. And my weekend hasn't been exactly great either. So we keep rolling with the punches and continuing on. Yeah, Salzburg owned by Chelsea, which is why a number of their players are here. Pizzazz, interesting. Finch. I've always found Finn an interesting proposition. Why in this game his price tag is so bonkers is astonishing. In 24, he had massive range and potential. So it's funny to see that now. Stuttgart 2. Noah is probably the best talent out of Stuttgart 2. So we'll have a scout of Noah. Noah's typically a good one. Former Barcelona player. Then of their actual team, Finch obviously would be one you'd be going for. We'll have a look at Samu, because he's 20. Why not? And he looks like he could be a poke. Are you streaming today yourself, Senior Benny? Or are you taking a Connie? Not too bad. Give us a bit of an update on what it is that you are streaming today. That sounded awfully menacing, so give us an update on what you're streaming today. Oh, okay, so you're streaming titties. I mean, I don't blame you. There's nothing quite like streaming titties, so I don't really blame you. When's the next tournament meant to be out? Like, is there any great buzz in the game at the moment? Interesting. Some of these just need a good scout, and we'll see how things end up going. No, go back there. Indefinite. There's no second game coming. So they're making a sequel to it, is it? Or is it just a comparison game that's in and around it? Oh no, has Porto signed him? No, Fulham are getting him full-time. I love Ricardo Morta. If his price goes down at Fulham, we might have a poke at him. Give you a scout. Oh, okay. There's no second game period. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, he's a Liverpool. Oh, yeah. He's a Liverpool player. I know there was a number of people that were complaining. By the way, I wonder if he's the same in this game as he is in FM24, where he just becomes one of the most destructively strong people in the entirety of the game. This kid. I'm not surprised that Jonah is here. Interesting. Lucas Hasberg. Wanted by Sporting. He's not our player profile anyway. Reed is like bonkers in terms of his price profile. Is that surprising that the Action Tynaman isn't getting a sequel, Benny? That it's gone from the idea of potentially getting a sequel, or was it a niche enough that that's to be kind of expected? Like the community itself, are you surprised that it's gotten to the point where it is now? Genuinely, even though it wouldn't be worth it, I'm half tempted to try and nick Mason Melia from Spurs just to have an Irish player. It's the same reason why, even though he's not worth it at the moment, I'm semi-tempted to go for Evan Ferguson. Because I've said it before, there is this old school showcase with United, where they typically have an Irish player in there: John O'Shea, Roy Keane, God, why are the legends going out of my head at the moment that were Irish? Anyway, you know what I'm on about. There's one big one there too, and I just completely I had the name and it's just completely gone out of my head. But hey, that's really, I guess it can be. I guess it's finally true. I'm a plastic fan. This is like Grimmery's big moneymaker, and the series doesn't usually hand off the IP for another developer to make a game. Well, I suppose that's good in a way. It means that you know that the development is going to continue on with the game, at least. Did you want another game? Because that's the way that it sounds. That there's kind of a disappointment that there isn't another game. Also, I must say, it's kind of unfortunate that there isn't the option to showcase the players that you have that won this. Dennis Irwin, that's the name I was thinking of. Thank you so much, Ashley. Yeah, absolute brain fart. Absolute brain fart. Because I should have known that, like, just off the cuff. Bloody tit that I am. Mateo Palma. Udinese under 18s. Interesting. So there's a poke at getting him for cheap if he's good. Oh, Mateo's with Chelsea and he's 21. I'm half tempted not to even scout him, but hey. What, are you worried that Tyneman will end up getting cancelled or turned off, Benny? Because it sounds like it's in no worry of it. I like Matías Gonzalez. I've always liked Matías Gonzalez. He's not the best for the position that's there, unfortunately, but I've always really liked him. The fact is, with Al Hilal is an interesting poke in of itself, so is it worth going for someone out there? But we'll see. They just passed 20 years for the series. Well, that's good. So that means there's plenty of Tyneman to end up adding into the game anyway, surely. So that's something to look forward to. Ooh, you are everything I like in an 18-year-old. That statement out of context sounds bonkers. Are you worth the 30 million? And Harry Gray is definitely one we go for. Although those stats are horrendous, but the youth aspect of him is worth it. Again, 30 million. So we'll wait until January and see, or not until January, until summer if we're keeping with it and see whether or not he's worth it. But for now, we'll do another save just to make sure that everything is kept there. And Bob's your uncle. Is there a specific Tyneman you want to be added into the game, Benny? If you don't mind me asking. Ooh, England won 6-4 versus Uruguay. Our finances are horrible. We're losing about 10 million a month. Or this is way more than 10 million a month. Oh, shit. Shit. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to get a nice old chunk of money at the end of the season, so it's not a big worry, even if we go into debt before the end of the season's gone. I mean, yes, Even though they are one of our major rivals, taking players off of Leeds typically ends up working well for us. I will say it's interesting, though, that the stats-wise of that Harry don't look particularly great, unfortunately. Now, I have him on another save where he's actually been developing okay. So I might end up taking him just for that. But we'll see, because it's more of a matter of what do we need. Ironically, one of the things we probably end up needing is a replacement for Lamens. I like Lamens, but he's probably not worth it. And we have to consider selling our brand new signings for this season, Mbeumo and Bloody Cunha, because both have been atrocious for us since they've come in. But we shall see. England club release a couple of players. I don't know if there's ever a point in investigating these players as to whether or not they're actually worth it. Maybe they just ended up going through the way lines and could be worth the actual poke of investigating them. I have never seen a good player come out of these releases. But I suppose at the end of the day, or as well of a gawk, just in case an unusual segment ends up happening and they just refuse to end up signing a contract or something of that description, and you might end up getting a decent player that you're willing to spend the monetary finances on. Although it's saying that these have been released and they're still with their clubs. Set to be released. Fair enough. Carmilla, the new villain, would be a cool playable. The Masked Chinaman, which is Orbero, before she turns evil, would be cool. Interesting. Huh. Because that's a god, typically, Orbero, isn't it? It's a clown. Anime character in Gintama. Okay, maybe not. I know it's been used quite a bit. I thought it ended up having some actual... Yes, Japanese destroyer in the Navy. That's what it was. That's what I was thinking of. Snake Lady, Kaya, and Power Lady would be cool too. Surely they don't use the name Power Lady. That has to be up for debate, considering I believe DC have the copyright for that. I was watching, you know what I've gotten into the habit of watching lately, and you might think less of me for this. But recently, I've gotten into the habit of watching Dragon's Den clips. And I was watching an old school Dragon's Den situation where a person was coming out with the eye glove because it was a way of connecting up to the internet and had the internet connectivity within the glove. And Duncan Bannatyne turning around stating that you should end up fighting it because Apple would never end up winning the court case against it. And it's funny when you end up thinking about it because obviously it didn't end up going ahead and they changed the name. But it's funny when you end up thinking about it because it reminded me of the McDonald's court case for Supermax here in Ireland, where Supermax Burger was known as the Super Mac. And Supermax wanted to expand outside of Ireland, so McDonald's ended up suing them, stating that the Mac was their own individual license. And as a result of which, McDonald's ended up being told that no, that isn't the case, and Supermax can now use the Mac name anywhere over the entirety of Europe. I wonder if the same thing would end up happening with the connotation of I on a product. POW would be a phenomenal signing as well. Yeah, you'll get the Super Duper Mac. The Ultra Super Duper Mac. By the way, that's one of Team 4-Star's greatest ever jokes, by the way. What shall we call this? Because this is definitely stronger than a Super Saiyan. How about, I know what we should call it. We should call this a Super Duper Saiyan. If this is a Super Duper Saiyan, I shall become a Super D-Duper Saiyan. Genuinely amazing bit of writing that. And the Super Duper Max, a triple patty burger. I mean, you joke about that, but that might actually be a thing. Ooh. Reports coming out that defender Levi Colwell, you're looking for after, has failed to resolve his unhappiness. Interessante. Interessante. Well, let's be an ass. Let's be a complete ass. Considering he's angry. And even if they say yes, we're not going to say yes to this, but let's be an ass. And put in a 40 million euro bid. Let's be a complete ass. Who knows? You might get lucky. I very, very much doubt it, but still, might as well be an ass. Mike Penders, Salzburg to Chelsea, not a chance of getting him, one of Chelsea's 15 goalkeepers. And then Restez, who you might be able to get for 40 million. He'd be a good backup option when we get rid of Belinder. We shall consider it. It's unlikely. We might go for the youth instead that we ended up going for. Seni Mialu at PSG 2, Interessante. But for now, let's see. Of course, you're sick before we come up to our new game. Yay! Again, we'll wait until summer in order to potentially put in a bid for him. Not surprising that Arsenal want him. They'd have the money to get him as well, which is the other concerning bit of that. Tonbridge relegated. Interessante. Don't care about an under 21 getting injured. Belinder performed bad again. You're literally being given the chance of your life, Belinder. Why are you performing bad in training? Considering you know you're up for sale, why are you performing bad in training? If you perform good, you could stay. Like, tit. Ooh, David Ozu. That's interesting. Launch. How much are they thinking? 100 million. Could be a shout. Do we give Lamens his game? I think we might do, depending on how things are. Let's look at David Ozu. I know he just signed a brand new contract, so we won't be signing him now anyway. You're going to be an ass about this, aren't you? Oh, God damn it. Yes, 20 years of age. He's currently on loan at Derby. I've always liked him as an alternative to Wharton. His potential was never particularly up there with him, but like depending on where the determination is, he might be the option to go for even at 20, which is borderline too old for me for development points. I mean, we're not... Well, I don't have a choice. There's a mandatory phase on it, so if he wants him, we can take him. I genuinely don't care. I would take back both Sancho and Rashford in this particular save because they're useful. IRL, I wouldn't, but that's a different kettle of fish. Jesus, I didn't realize Hansi Flick was 60. Interesting. Spurs are true. Man City are true with Ricardo could you imagine an own goal being the reason why you're kicked out of the FA Cup? I mean, I know you got an unfortunate tie with Man City, but crikey, is that annoying, an own goal being the reason why you're kicked out. Okay, interesting. So, I figured they'd come back and say no. I'm kind of surprised they didn't negotiate it. But I suppose they really don't want to get rid of him either. So it's not that surprising.
I mean, just because I'm curious at this point. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. That sounds like Chelsea. That sounds like Chelsea. Okay. So, FA Cup. FA Cup. Heaton is back. The men's is back. So, we're going to be, as might surprise you or might not, depending on you watching me, we're going to be experimental. We're going to put our 16-year-old back in goal because he's performed in every one of these games so far and has done actually fairly well. He has good potential and seems to be improving fairly well. So we're going to put Hardy in goal. Is that smart? Hell no. But we're going to do it anyway. We're going to, if they're not dead, which I suspect they will be considering the looks of things. Jay is tired, so we're not going to do it. OB isn't, so we might end up playing OB. Where is Yoro? Yoro is here, so we're going to go. And we are going to go with Yoro for Shaw, Evan for Martinez. It's a shame you're not fit, Gibson. Shame you're not fit. I would have played you. Stellar and Bruno. Cunha for Mazraoui. We'll put Casemiro on the bench, even though we're probably not going to use him. I really want to give Obi game time, but it is a mistake to do it. It just is a mistake to do it. Screw it. Screw it, screw it, screw it, screw it, screw it. We're going to. We're making a mistake, but screw it, we're going to. Mbuemu up here on the wing. Victor in the position of Mount, even though he probably should be a striker. So ideally, this would be one where we change this to the top two front again. But I don't think that's the right move to do here. I think we stick with this and potentially move him up front if we need to. And I think this is the squad we go with for this game. Is this smart? No. No. But we are at home, which is one benefit about it. We have the capability of making the changes fairly quick. We experiment with Manu up front, which is something we haven't done before. And we see how things end up going. So with that being said, this could end up turning out horrible, but wish us some luck in our FA Cup match. Oh, when did you get injured? How did you get injured? Sometimes I hate this game. Proper injury too.
Could you imagine putting one of the bloody trialers on? I mean, the actual best bet is putting Jaden on, even though he's not useful for it. It means we have too many defenders. It does mean we have too many defenders, though. Jaden, Maguire, Shaw, Lissandro. That's 4 defenders, but Lissandro can play in centre defensive midfield. Screw it, we're going with this. Screw it, we're going with this. Don't second guess it, Craic. Screw it, let's go for it. Cross your fingers and your thumbs for us, guys. We might need a wee bit of luck on this one. Again, same rule as normal, which is interesting for putting little amends there. But if a goal ends up going in on Hardy before we end up scoring a goal, we immediately do the substitution, because we can't trust that Hardy will end up having a good performance, unfortunately, which is harsh on Hardy, but it is where we're going to end up going with it. So, into the fray. We're giving the youth a go. Let's hope that the youth can perform better. We're not as youthful as I probably would have been if a couple of people were actually fit. We would have added another youth to the centre defensive midfield position. So we have a really strong centre defensive midfield. We have De Ligt holding up the line there with Aidan Heaven and Yenny Laurel. Yenny Laurel just coming back from injury after being destroyed by Benacaga's West Ham. We have Dogu on the left-hand side. We have Mbremu on the right-hand side, who has failed to perform in that position every time we put him there, but as well try it. Victor Rusk in the midfield, because we have to give a go of him at some description, and this should be an okay showcase for him. And Obi Martin up front. The thing with Obi Martin is I don't know if he's tall enough for the way that we end up playing, but with that being said, we go anyway. This is an almost identical Bournemouth side, other than the fact that they had an injury over the international break. So Lewis Cook comes in instead, the 29-year-old. So, wish us some luck. What do we say? The media's been giving you a lot of credit. This typically motivates people, and it has done again today. And we can't get the last 2 up, but Old Trafford is waiting. Carabao Cup is, or not Carabao, FA Cup is awaiting. Bournemouth is awaiting. Can we get another one over Areola? 2 in a row, game for game. Can we get the result that we want here in the mighty Old Trafford? Let's see. Immediate start off now, stellar. And the game just... Thank you for that. I was looking forward to that highlight. Ryan Christie with an immediate yellow card. And it's a highlight for Bournemouth. This is concerning, but De Ligt with a nice clearance. Dogu now with the run. Dogu to Bruno to Dogu. Nice work. Nice work. Unfortunate. Very oh! For what? God, out of everyone on this team, Victor's the one that needs the goal. But also, I love that there's people on the bench that are the options here, and I can't pick some other people. Why can't I pick Hardy? Why can't I pick Hardy? Okay, whatever. But Mbremu could use it as well. Screw it. We'll give it to Obi. Give it to Obi. Screw it. Screw it. Give it to Obi.
Give it to Obi. Give him the goal. Go on. Let's hope you can score this, Obi. Go on, give it to the youth. Obi Martin, penalty. FA Cup quarter-final. Nice goal. Absolutely beautiful for Obi Martin. Give it to a Gat who is not on the pitch. Obi Martin with a nice goal, top right-hand corner, beautifully done. Petrovic went the entire wrong way. Obi Martin giving the goal there. Next time, if we end up getting another penalty in this game, it's Victor Craic who gets it instead. But for now, we're 1-0 up. Hardy gets a wee bit of freeness in between him as a result of this, and we continue to play off now. Can we get a goal off of open play? Time will tell there. But for now, we're in a good position. We like to be here. This is the result that we won in the last game. So defensively, we know that we're fairly strong in our orientation, although this is a much different defensive line than we had the last time. Different goalkeeper and 2 different defenders. But at the moment, we're holding ourselves fairly well, stopping Bournemouth from getting the chance that they want. Funny that they've had 3 corners and only 1 shot, which means their corner play has been atrocious. But they are getting more of the ball than we are in general play, and are being slightly dirtier than we are too, which is interesting. I would like if you could edit the match events to showcase cards being occurred as well. Myself, I like knowing who has the cards. Mbuemu, not bad passing work there. Stellar. And Victor almost with the goal. A very, very nice save by Petrovic, who, and I'll argue this point with anyone, I think was Chelsea's best goalkeeper when they sold him. I think he's better than Robert Sanchez. I know that's probably a controversial opinion, but I genuinely think he was better than Sanchez. I think they sold the wrong one. Okay, good work there. And Hill with an incredibly bad shot, but Hardy keeping himself up well. 45 minutes in, we have been, by a wide margin, the better team. Bruno with a card there, which is slightly concerning. Doggo to Bruno. Bruno in. Mbuemu attempting, but Ryan Christie able to end up hitting him down. Chancy by Christie, I'll tell you, because that could have been a penalty. But with that being said, we've had an okay performance. Victor, unfortunately, the receiving end of a bad score, which means he might need to be taken off sooner rather than later, which is unfortunate because I want Victor to end up doing well. But we're 1-0 up. We're doing well. And we're saying I'm not happy with what we've seen so far to get them motivated. And into the fray we go again. They end up starting off. Truffet. Cience. And we end up coming down true. Bruno now with a free kick. With Bruno. I don't know whether or not to blame that on Mbuemu being in the wrong position or Bruno doing an atrocious pass, but that might have led to a goal. Nope. Nice work by Mbuemu there. A nice run by Obi, who passes it to Victor. Victor. Oh, that'll lower down your point, Victor. That was a very, very bad shot. Hold the ball or pass it back or do something. That was a very bad shot. That's the type of shot that needs to be on target to be warranted. Okay, Petrovic with a kick out. Beautiful kick out. Beautiful by them, but Delict in the way for them. Lenny Yoro now to Mbuemu. Rushk. I'm sorry, Rushk. Victor, you're just... I mean, I don't have a problem with it, Ashday. We tried it earlier on, but with the team being infiltrated with youth, I don't want to change the primary tactic too much for familiarization. So unfortunately, he's the recipient of not playing in his normal position and me not wanting to screw the balance of the team. Like, I know I could move him up there and it would end up being better for him. But ironically, the last 2 times we've done that, he hasn't performed great in it either. So he's going to end up coming off.
Now, here's the thing. I really don't like putting on someone that's complacent. So, we're going to move Mbuemu up there. And we're going to bring Ahmad on. Which I know is 2 changes in 1, but I almost refuse to bring on someone that's complacent. I almost refuse to do it. And Bruno now has a card on him. So we're going to swap Stellar with Bruno. And we're going to bring Ugarte on for Bruno. Dogu is now tired there as well. So ironically, we're going to change the system anyway. Because we're going to put Mbuemu down for Dogu. We're going to move Obi over to here. Keep him there. We're going to move Dogu up here. Menu over there. And we're going to put Sesko on. So ironically, I'm doing it anyway, Ashday. Which is honestly bloody hilarious. But what can you do, I suppose? Why are you whinging? You're in the right position. Anyway, let's hope this doesn't screw things. If we get a pen, I might give it to Ugarte, but we'll see. Anyway, this change might screw us ultimately. Hopefully it won't. Some squad members, particularly Brian Mbuemu and Victor Rushker, I missed what that dynamic was stating. Goal. Oh, nice save by Hardy. His first actual attempt at a proper save. More direct game than we currently are. Interesting. We're fairly direct, so I'm surprised they're whinging about that. Okay, Truff. Oh. Is that a trip? Because if that wasn't a trip, that should have been a card. Heaven to Mbuemu. Mbuemu straight through to Obi. Obi to Sesko. And you have to feel a wee bit sorry for Victor Rushk. Oh. Oh, 5 minutes later and a goal with an assist from Obi. To be fair, Petrovic just left it as an open goal. But oh my God, the duality of man, I suppose, because oh my God, that's FMing a player. It's very rare to see Football Manager FMing a player. It's also remarkably funny that we are performing bonkersly better against them in comparison to the last game. Like, we have monstrous XG. Also, Hardy with a beautiful save. Hardy's been performing exceptional today. Exceptional for a 16-year-old. Does he get a game further than this? We'll see. If it's one of the big teams, no. But we'll see. See, another, like, you'd expect that type of a save, but still. I mean, what's worse, Ashday, is Victor's going to get an absolute bollocking after this game too. Like, he's going to get pointed out in the bloody team talk. So if he wasn't fuming before, he's going to be fuming in a minute. Very happy with the result. And then Victor Rushk. Terrible performance. You will always be substituted for that. Nothing of specific to know. That's the worry, because it ends up immediately just down goes the theory. I mean, yes, Maddie, I agree with you. If he's old enough, he's good enough. But, like, that's an outstanding performance by Hardy. And what's phenomenal about it too is it's one of the reasons I really dislike this, and this is not an FM26 thing. Allow me to point this out. This is not a critique of FM26. This is a critique of FM, because this has been the case for a multitude of years in FM. I dislike the fact that for Hardy, when we first had Hardy,
okay? And we brought him in and we gave him a go. Hardy's potential was 3 stars. Okay? It was 3 stars, but he was the best potential of any of the goalkeeping youths that we had, other than Dermot Mee, who is the best, ability player. The rest of them weren't worth putting into the place, so Dermot Mee went on to the bench. Since that period of time, Hardy's potential star rating has gone up to 5.5 stars. Okay? I dislike that. I understand that will happen as you look at a player more, as you scout a player more, as you recognize a player more. But the reason I dislike it is because you might end up accidentally passing on a potential great player because of that particular rating point. Because you're not scouting every single game. You're not watching every single game. You don't get to see a performance like Hardy had here. It's one of the things that bothers me a bit about it, and it's been an FM thing for years. Now, I know you want that bit of spontaneity in the way that you find players and to see that a player actually grows into his ability. Like, in theory now, we don't need to sign another young goalkeeper. Hardy could do the job for us. But the other problem is, in theory, additionally, too, his original potential rating could end up being true, and he's ultimately not worth the developmental cost that comes into having him. Also, yes, I ended up going on a weird twang on my cost. Also, Wolves, play him on the fucking main team! God damn it, you haven't played him once in the main team. You annoying pricks. Genuinely, you annoying pricks. You're angering the crap out of me. It's the first time I've ever seen it happen, and it's angering the piss out of me. I know he's performing good for them, and he's probably getting development off of Wolves, but it's angering the crap out of me. And he's playing for the under 21s. It's genuinely pissing me off. Oh God, I have such a weirdness about myself. I'm so anally retentive on some crap. That's just it's an irrational level of anger, but it's annoying me so bloody much that they're doing it. Ooh, Christoph Koops could be a poke. 17-year-old. Wanted by PSG. So, you know what? Screw it. Also, because once I do the suggestion, they're going to bloody bring it up. Yeah, figured. I don't mind giving them 9.5. He genuinely seems like he could be a poke. Kema Andreas. We'll have to look at you again come summer. You could be an option. But for now, we actually might need to take Delict off for the next game. Still, Obi performed really good. The really sad thing, too, is technically speaking, we should play Obi versus Leeds. We're not going to, but we should. Well, I say we're not going to. It'll depend on how I'm feeling when we're looking at the game. Okay. Fairy Tale continues in the competition. I mean, happy out. Obi had a great game. He did indeed. He used technology ends up coming down there. I feel sorry for the communications poorly when it comes down and being resolved by that. Does moving to a central role mean different phrases? No comment.
We literally played him because we needed to play him and we wanted to put Obi up front. New position had been worth the week's no line of questioning. And exit the interview because that's a waste of goddamn time. Leeds next at home. Then Chelsea the week afterwards. Victor won best rookie. In what bloody world? There's a reason I bought Victor, because he has great stats and the whole lot. But crikey, has he been underwhelming. 6 performances, 3 goals. I mean, XG of 1.9. I'm being too harsh on him. Fair enough. I'm being significantly too harsh on him. That's fair enough. That's me being a dick. That's me being a dick. I'm being significantly too harsh on him. I didn't realize the stats were actually that high. Just the games where I've been watching him, Sesko has come on, and then the corners have ended up making Sesko just, but yeah, Brazilian player to win the Young Brazilian Player of the Year. Fair enough. I mean, he definitely won that before he joined us. How long is he injured? 2 to 3 weeks. In Puemo, you're getting more game time. Ooh, that reminds me, actually, speaking of him. Yeah, bollock him for the bad performance. He needs to remember his place. What? Oh, it's a different one. Okay, I was wondering. Still. Huh. Yeah, he's no Bruno replacement, and Brian Mbeumo does the role better as well. So ironically, he's not worth it. Ironically, he's not worth it. Even though he would be an okay shout as a player for the way that we play, ironically, he's not worth it. World class in the whole lot as he appears to be, he actually doesn't work for us. Which is funny. Piss off with Kessie. Lennon Miller. Ooh. You're a shout. You're genuinely a shout. You're so bloody expensive, though. Oh, what? It was the semi-finals. It was bound to be an awkward option, but we got City. It could have been Spurs or Southampton. We got the worst option. Oh, damn. Damn. Just damn. That is unfortunate to get City for that. Anyway, Maddie, I suppose I didn't ask you when you ended up coming in, stating if they're good enough, they're old enough. How has your life been treating you, my friend? Has the week been treating you good? Are you looking forward to this weekend versus Tottenham Hotspurs and how we can potentially end up doing against them? I think we'll end up having a good performance against them myself. But time shall tell how that ends up going. I find it hilarious that they scouted Cristiano Ronaldo. I didn't tell them to do that. Why they scouted him is very, very interesting. I'm shocked that he isn't actually retiring, mind you. But let's have a gawk. Top target pursuit. Weird. Really? You think so? Well, I guess he hasn't been performing good enough for them. I doubt that he isn't good enough because he does tend to improve a lot. Although this is every now and again, this save can just annoy the bollocks off you because he can perform very good for them, and he just hasn't. He hasn't been playing for them. So he's going to come back to us, and hopefully he'll be good when he comes back to us. It's hard to know. He definitely hasn't played enough for them to sign him. Although, I mean, I don't know what to think. That Forest game just showed me that we are massively inconsistent and can't just play our game. We look so slow on and off of the ball. I mean, that's fair. That's a fair opinion, Matty. I feel slightly different about it than you. Because we expected Forest to play a smothering game. And the sad truth of playing a smothering game like they did is it will automatically make you holy crap. Okay. Leave that to itself. It will automatically make you play slower just by the basis of how a smothering game ends up working. It has to make you play slower. So the actual slower turn of play that we had doesn't shock me too much to be concerned with it, if you get me. Spurs will be far more open. That's just a matter of how they play. But Thomas also has been playing a far more pragmatic game than the Spurs fans are happy with. And with the fact that the fans were almost booing him in the last Premier League game, I don't know if he'll get away with playing that way in the Premier League again. As a result of that, I think they'll be more open than they otherwise might be. So I think this is going to be more a Brighton game than a Nottingham game, which means it should be more to our benefits than theirs. But I think if we perform bad in that game, it could be the last game for a number of players. I know, Ashday. Wouldn't you believe it? He's gone to PSG. PSG have signed him. We didn't end up getting to him in time. PSG have signed him for bonkersly cheap. So, unfortunately, we can't get him. He looks phenomenal. But we can't get him. PSG have gotten him. So he's going to be worth an absolute fortune. Also, Xavi as the manager of Leeds. Interesting. Instead of Fark, Xavi. That's an interesting kettle of fish. With that being said, though, Matty, I think the game will end as a draw. I think the massive difference for us at the moment that isn't being talked about enough is the confidence that Lamens has given us. And I think that genuinely makes such a massive difference to us that hopefully things will end up working out well. But we'll see. Interesting that the scout is whinging about that. I mean, you cheeky dick. Oh, we're okay with 105. Yeah, go on. I don't know what to expect because I don't know what United team will show up. I do agree, Lamens has brought a whole different level of confidence. Yes, and that's one of the big things about it. Half-time loss of concentration is a big problem, but that's been a problem infiltrating United for years. And I guarantee you the bollocking that they would have gotten after that would be next level, to the point that I think it will be interesting how they perform here. Also, we're going to change up the squad again for this one. We're going to go with this. Where are our leads in the table? 19th. So in theory, we can experiment a bit. But the players that we'd experiment with have been used, with the exception of you. Why do we have a player that's unavailable? 2. Okay, Ahmad is injured and Jay is unavailable. Fun. Fun. Let's just put 2 people there that are available and then change them. Do that for now and then do this. Sorry, bear with us a moment. Instead of Sharp. And we have had Matters on the bench before, but we'll put a Mass on the bench. Matters for McAllister. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how things end up going. Why can I not go back? Okay, I'll check that after this match. Maddie, because it won't let me go back, weirdly enough. Have you tried Mantau? How is he in the game? He's literally one of the bucks we're just after putting on the bench. So he's there, Mantau. His potential is 4 stars, and he encompasses both the left wing position and the right wing. In theory, we could put him there instead of Mbuemu. We'll see how we're doing at halftime, and we might bring him on, a Mass on the left and him on the right. But I don't think we start the game with that. I think we start the game the way that we are here, with this particular squad. Considering his performance, I'm actually going to start Hardy, which is dangerous. But Lamens isn't fully fit, and I really don't like playing a player that isn't fully fit. So, let's hope your statement is accurate, Matty, and that when you're old enough and you're good enough, you can play in the first team in the Premier League. Oh, never mind. We won't. Oh, you disappointing bastard. Okay. We'll go with Belinda instead. That's genuinely made me a bit less excited for this game. But hey, let's go into it and let's see how things go. Into the fray we go. Hopefully we perform well. Sesko on the bench again. We can make that change if we need to. Obi being given his start after his good performance in the FA Cup, primarily because he ended up scoring a penalty that we gave him that he shouldn't have had. And let's see if himself and Rushk can actually perform somewhat well. This is more of a showcase for Rushk than it is for Obi, funnily enough. So we'll see what ends up happening here. So all we can say is once the game loads, wish us some luck. Xavi Hernandez's Leeds United versus Manchester United's Craic Attack. In we go now. Wilfred Gonto, or Gonto, however you pronounce him, has been a player I have loved getting in the past. So knowing my luck, he'll end up ripping my ass a new one. But the fact that they don't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Sean Longstaff on is interesting. Why, Benny? What did they do to Miles Lewis-Skelly to make it unplayable? No, but in general, what did they end up doing to MLS to make it unplayable? Is it that the rules are wrong, or what ended up happening? Because it is in the game. GAM slider is broken. You cannot buy down. You cannot buy down the salary cap impact of players. I mean, I suppose the best thing to do, if considering most people don't play MLS saves, is to take a screenshot of that and post it to the actual X account. I know you don't like using Twitter, but post to the actual Twitter account and mention it to the actual support bot that's there, because that's legitimately a bug most people mightn't catch. And I don't think they have that bot set up on Blue Sky. Anyways, wish us some luck now as we go in to this game now. Euro starting off. Nice little run. Brian Mbeumo and a bad pass in there. I didn't need to see the rest of that. They don't, but I'll look into it this weekend. No bother, my friend. And if you don't have a Twitter account anymore, send me over the screenshots and I'll post it up for you. Brian Mbeumo. And Bruno Fernandes scores the header. When Sesko isn't on the pitch, Bruno can do the job instead. I will say, I feel slightly aggravated that Obi didn't jump at all. Obi is taller, I believe. Actually, I'm going to check that. Yeah, Obi is 188 centimeters, which is a good bit taller than Enric, who we mentioned before. So that is 188 centimeters of feet. He's 6'1", so he's not Sesko, who's 6'5", but he could at least bloody jump, you know. Menu, Bruno is 6 foot. So, and what's Victor? Victor is Victor's a short king as well. I didn't realize Victor was so short. 172 is 5'6". Christ, I didn't realize he was that short. Wow, he's short. Okay. I didn't pay attention to that. Holy crap, he's short. Okay, fair enough. I need to pay more attention to the height when I'm buying my strikers. Jack Berger, 27. Okay, no use. Interesting that. Anyways, we're performing good so far. Ironically, in terms of shot accuracy, we're doing phenomenally well with this setup. So it's working okay here, and the defensive leakiness hasn't come into play yet. But we are playing 19th in the league at the moment. Stellar to Euro to Delict to Martinez. I forgot we should have made Delict rest for this game. We'll take him off not at halftime, but close to it. They're lucky that wasn't a penalty. Dogu done bad there as well. Victor trying his arm, and Bruno! Ooh. Offside.
1-0 is not a good enough result. We want to end up killing the game of it, so we do need the second goal. Even the third, 2-0, the most dangerous score in all of football. So I know there's an awful lot of people that end up living under the fact that even though 1-0 statistically is worse for you as a result, that 1-0 is a better result to have than 2-0 because complacency doesn't enter the team. And the big problem with 2-0 is complacency enters a team at 2-0 because you feel you have the buffer and you don't need to worry. Nice pass by... Oh, and Brian Mbeumo to Menu. And unfortunately, this is a game where Victor is not showing himself well. Menu there to cover a mistake from Victor. Victor should have tapped that in, unless the feint was part of the move. And if it was part of the move, fair play to him. It worked, and Menu scored as a result. It's hard to know. It gave him a point for it, so maybe the game recognized that as a feint. I am suspect as to whether or not that was a feint. I don't trust this match engine to have feints put into it. Anyway, Brian and Mbeumo down. Victor, pass straight back. Stellar. Oh my God. That has to be a red. I was going to say... And it's my good friend Wilfred, too. I mean, they haven't fixed the bug. Oh, come on, guys. Oh. How is that bug not fixed? How is that bug not fixed? Oh, whatever. No foul. Yeah, no, I'll just do a Luis Diaz and chop his feckin' knee off. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on him, Ashday. I think Victor's been performing grand in this game. Bruno and Brian Mbeumo have been performing exceptional with each other. So we'll see what ends up happening there. And Mainu's performing much better in that attacking position. So ironically, we might be swapping the two of them around from now on. But we do make a substitution at halftime. Because he was feeling a little weaker earlier on, we're going to put Maguire on for De Ligt. Dogu hasn't been his best self, so we'll put Hamas on for Dogu. We will move him back here and here, which should be fine. Do that. And then here we have run with it. And standard. And then out of possession, just tackle hard. Stop it. Good, do that. So we're giving you a goal there. Mbeumo is currently performing too good to give screw it, we're 2-0 up. Go on. Even though Mbeumo is performing particularly good, is the best player on the pitch, we shouldn't take him off. Screw it, we'll give him a goal. Talking about bugs, I played a team yesterday. Their player got 2 yellow cards and got a red. It showed red on the screen and he stayed on the pitch. It was still doesn't surprise me, to be honest. That's the type of crap that's actually frustrating, to be honest, Matty. That's the type of stuff that makes me not want to play the game. But, you know what? Screw it. Anyway, we're performing grand against Leeds now. Will Victor end up getting a goal before the end of this? Time shall tell. Will the 2 substitutions against 10 men cause us to have an issue? I don't think so. But again, time shall tell there. Hamas on the... It might weaken our attacking capabilities, but time shall tell. Dan James having a particularly bad performance against us as well, former United player. Yeah, we haven't seemed to have the same attacking edge since we've made those changes. Manito hasn't had the same running capabilities as Mbeumo, but we'll see. At 64
at 70 minutes, we'll take off menu for Cunha. And we're going to give you every chance in the goddamn world, Victor, because we're going to take Obi off and put Benjamin Sesko on. And if you don't score now towards the end of this game, you're just screwed, my friend. Yeah, it made me think I was just seeing crap. I thought I was going crazy. Yeah, it's interesting. Come on, Victor. We need something out of you. You've been performing crap this half. Okafor stopped by Euro. Over to Victor, to Cunha. Victor to Bruno. Ooh, freezing. Martinez to Maguire. Euro. Cunha. Stellar taken down. Free kick. Are you going to showcase the free kick? Nope. There's only one other change I can do for you, Victor. One other change, and you get 10 minutes to see how it does for you, my friend. I'm going to go ultra attacking. I think unfortunately also their manager Xavi ended up being us. I think unfortunately Victor might be a busted flush. Crap. 15 corners though, and not a single goal from it. Like, we destroyed Leeds in this game, let's be fair, but like, what do you do with Victor? I mean, you have to bollock him. You have to bollock him. It's not a good enough performance. But that's 2 in a row. It's 2 in a row, my friend. 2 in a row. Anyway, in we go. Good win against rivals. And then specifically you, Victor, I'm furious with your performance. Not good enough. I mean, at the moment, we're not selling Rasmus. But we might do. It depends on the option that ends up coming true. The deal is there for them. They're going to, the Napoli are going to qualify for the Champions League, but they haven't been playing him, so they're not going to sign him. Rashford, they might end up being signed, but we'll see. Also, yeah, we're going to run out of money, but hey, who cares? But I don't know. Yep, he was the best player on the pitch. He wasn't really an attacking midfielder, though, was he? He was a fucking striker. And he needs a bollocking for that bad performance again. I was afraid that was going to end up happening. Okay. Okay. Well, it's definitely not sellable point for Victor, but he needs something. He needs to showcase himself up. But with that being said, the next game won't be it for him because he's going to be on the bench for it. Because the next game is Chelsea. Pixel, my friend, what's a crack-a-lackin'? It's a pleasure to have you in, Gears of War superfan. How is life treating you? Is it all going good? Is it all going grand? Is it all going
saucy. We've pretty much confirmed ourselves into the 4th position at the moment with 61 points, which is good. I'm not doing too bad now, if I'm honest. Just enjoying the save. There are eccentricities of the game that are pissing me off, but in general, I am enjoying the game and happy to be continuing with it for the moment. We'll see whether or not that ends up changing, but I still can't, in good graces, recommend this game to anyone. Honestly, I still think you go for FM24 over this at the moment. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable recommending this game. And until they resolve all of the bugs, I'm going to end up putting that point. But it's not like they can't. The best example of where it has been resolved in the past is Cyberpunk. Yada yada yada. What is Cyberpunk's actual subtitle? Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2027 and Rainbow Six Siege are 2 games that showcase the game isn't dead until the developers allow it to be dead. I don't hold hope that SI are going to do the required work to ensure that this game isn't dead. That's my worry. But can it be saved? Yes. Do I have faith that it will be saved? No. As of this moment in time, do I recommend you purchase it? No. If it went on sale for 20 quid, do I recommend you purchase it? Yes. And that's the way I am at the moment with the game. That's the way I am at the moment with the game. Is that harsh? Potentially. Also, wonderful that your top goal scorer is also your top assister. But yeah. If you were to re-download FM24, Matty, what would you do? Would you go for a brand new database? And that's the big thing. Are there people working on FM24 to have a brand new database? Because if there is an updated database for FM24, which I'm almost positive there is, but if there's an updated database for FM24, I definitely recommend it. That's the big thing. It's just the development on updates for FM24 will start dying down now as well. Not a chance. Luke Shaw is injured. Interesting. Okay. Jamal Musiala will be goddamn perfecto, but he's also 200 million quid. So there ain't a goddamn chance in hell we get Jamal Musiala. 30 million is not a bad offer for you, Tomas, but we're not going to do it, sadly. What I think would bring people back to FM26, Pix and I were talking about it, is if modders can bring the 24 UI into 26 and keep... So here's the thing. I don't agree, Matty, because base FM24's UI actually isn't that good of a UI. And if you remember, an awful lot of people were complaining about the changes done to FM24's UI. I think if they can find a way to get the SAS skin or skins of equivalent quality into this game, that will definitely help. I also don't see why they wouldn't be able to do that, because as I continue to say, this is built on the carcass of 24. I don't care that they say this is built on a brand new engine. To me, the only bit of this that's built on a brand new engine is the goddamn match engine, because everything else is the same. It's database management. It's the exact same database, and you know it because it has the exact same faults as the original database as 24. They haven't made any changes to it, and that's the thing. This is fundamentally a text-based simulator. So, to me, once skins end up being figured out how to be put in, that will end up helping the game a major amount. But there does need to be the question about the fact of the fact that SI made the ridiculously stupid decision to make modding harder. It is something I mentioned before when I was talking about this game and the rumors that I had before it has been released, that there was rumors that the game was going to be harder to mod. And I couldn't understand why they would do it, because it's shooting yourself in the foot due to the modding community that this game has. If you have a modding community, don't kill the modding community. It's a reason why people are at the game. Don't be stupid. I think the changes they've put into place for this are actively shooting themselves in the foot for their modding community. And that is completely nonsensical. Completely nonsensical, and I genuinely don't understand why they did it. But they did. So, you know, you have to abide by whatever choices they end up making. No matter how much you disagree with them. So that's my viewpoint on what would end up bringing people back to it. But even with that, out of principle, I still don't think you should purchase this game until it's on sale. And my principle of the fact is they've been working on this game for 3 years. They delayed the game for a year as a result of backlash that ended up happening on a UI point of view. UI is graphics design. You should be able to sort that out bonkersly quick. I'm sorry. The backwards request of that aren't as bad as people end up saying. How much do they want? 85 million. That's what I figured. We're going to do this again just to be an ass. So that's my viewpoint on it. Because of Sports Interactive's own choices, I don't think you should give this game its full value, you know? What else I don't understand is why would they make the PC version that favors consoles? Why not make 2 versions? Are they just that small staff that can't do it? No. In fact, they've increased their staff. The actual reason for that is the next generation of consoles are effectively going to be PCs. The current generation of consoles are effectively PCs. But don't be shocked if the next generation of consoles change your control pad so that it has that touchpad sensitivity back in it again that the PS4 has. Because effectively what they've been trying to do for years is figure out a way to make this into a mouse. Effectively, that's what they've been trying to do, is make your controller into a mouse. The problem with that is you could use the gyro sensitivity to end up doing that, but you don't feel right when it isn't on the ground doing this. So I effectively think the reason why they've done that, and in retrospect, it's not a bad viewpoint to go to. I think the reason why they've PC-ified the console version is because consoles are PCing themselves. And eventually it will just... Wow, he's cheap. Okay, why did he become so cheap? Okay, we're going to be keeping an eye on you, Tyler. It's because of that. That's the reason why that's been done. Now, that excuses why you've made the... That excuses why you've made the console version more PC-wise. Why have you made the PC version more console
Because you're lazy bastards and don't want to end up making two versions. You want to be able to release the same version under two different price tags. You basically ended up doing a Pokemon Scarlet versus Pokemon Violet, where they're the same game with very, very, very little differences. That's effectively why they've done that. They're lazy bastards and want to make more money. In case you're wondering. That's effectively the reason they've done that. It's money. Whether or not that's a good thing, teach their own. I can't decide that for you. You need to decide that one yourself. I can't decide that one for you. But most of their community is PC. They've just screwed over half their community. Yes, but here's the honest truth. FM24 garnered in a large amount of people into a very niche community. This game has been very, very niche for years. One of the reasons why it has been niche is because it is a text-based simulator, and nothing will change that. The reason for the focus on the match engine is because EAFC and FIFA has been crap, and they want to grab the people that play that game. That is the reason why they have done that. They are trying to grab EAFC players. It's a completely different game type. It's a completely different game structure, but you might grab one or two of them. If you could grab a large majority of the EAFC community, you exponentially grow the game's marketability. The FM community is surprisingly small, dedicated, incredible to be in, but small. And FM24 was the most popular version of the game. Now, it's also the game that had an extra year in it, so that makes sense as well. But that's effectively why they have done that, because the PC community is too small, Maddie. And in theory, it makes sense why they're trying to target that. But that's also why I don't want to give them credit for this. I don't care what people say. That match engine is not impressive. It's not impressive. Is it better than 24? Yes. Is it the standards of a game that's taken 2 years to end up going about it with characters that look like they've been modeled off of a SimCity game of in 2006? No, it's not good enough for the 3 years they've put into it. It's not warranted for the engine change they've put into place. I understand why they did it. I understand that you're trying to get the attention to it. The camera change is nice, but the eccentricities that they've done to it, specifically the licensing where they're too lazy to put the bloody goalkeepers on, and the loss of that is a problem in of itself. The sad truth of the matter is, and you're right on this one, Ashday, they're losing their own fans while trying to get new ones. You have to take that risk. And I'll tell you exactly why in a second. Give me 1 second, I need to get an image. Which company was it? Yes, okay. So, an example of this what I'm mentioning is this. And again, you're going to need to give me a second because I need to do a bit of editing here to show it off for everyone, especially on the vertical point as well. So this. Okay. So an example of what I'm on about
is this big ass risk here that has been done on a particular car company. Okay? You have to take the risk. If you don't take the risk, ultimately it could end up failing for you. And a company where the risk has been showcased up the much that has done it, and I think they're absolutely bonkers for doing this, is a company that has lived by this philosophy. They have recognized that their sales have started to stagnate, and they need to make a massive change in order to do it. Those of you on the vertical platforms know the company I'm on about at the moment. I'm showing the image. But this. Jaguar stopped all production of all of their cars in order to come out with a brand new design, a revolutionary design that would end up immediately affecting their brand, stopping people from ending up purchasing their vehicles, with the idea of resetting the market, resetting the design, and being something for multiple years to end up coming down. I think that design is tripe, and I don't think it's going to work. But that's what Jaguar are after doing. Sports Interactive are trying the same thing, but they're trying the same thing while eating their cake as well. So they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Where they're trying to expand out to a new community and keep the one that they currently have. The thing is, for the majority of the people that are FM fans, they don't care about the match engine. The match engine is just a nice little extra. It's this crap. It's the hours upon hours upon hours of just methodically looking through stupid ass menus that end up enjoying. We like this level of detail. We like the percentages that are being done here. We like the tactile point of view that ends up pointing down here. We like the dashboards that end up telling you the information that ends up coming down. We like the data points that end up coming through. We like knowing all of the data hub points of view and knowing exactly where it ends up coming down. I like looking at the defenders' points of view here, being able to see where the stats ends up putting down, like the blocks per 90, high block clearance. What's the number? In FM24, we knew that that Dewberry Hall was the highest person up there, and that the number would end up coming down and telling us. And if you hovered over Dewberry Hall, you'd know. Sorry, not Dewberry Hall. Bloody Sandeberg. Someone United tried to sign a couple of years ago. You'd end up knowing what Sandeberg's actual blocks and clearances are, but you don't know that, and that's the type of information that not proper, but big FM fans like. And you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot for aesthetical capabilities of a simplistic audience, because the sad truth of the matter is you have to simplify the game to attract the EA fans, and the market currently isn't big enough for them to continue down the way that they are. Now, I don't agree with that. I think it is, but that's the reason why they've done it, in my opinion. Everything I said there could be absolute horse manure, and they just decided, you know what, screw it. Shoot their foot. That could have been what they decided to do. They could have just went boom on their foot. I can't turn around and say that they didn't. They could have just not done the market research and not seen that they were pissing off the entirety of their audience base. But that's my thing. They done a punt. The punt didn't work. The punt wasn't big enough. And, you know, what can you do? At the end of the day, there is, as someone pointed around and said earlier on, what FM26 is at the moment. FM26 is this. Its current ability is 1 star with the potential to be 5. They've gone on the right track. The UI is nice with a ton of inconsistencies that make it annoying to end up coming down to. This particular tactics page is a beautiful idea. The ability to be able to completely morph your gameplay to the way that you end up doing it is beautiful. There's already companion apps that have been built in place in order to see where every individual bit will end up doing to go into more detail, which is the reason what they're making the mistake for. This needs more detail, not less, but you need a corresponding tab. So there should be a bookmark up here or something that gives you infinitesimally more detail. Like, where's Bruno going to run sat here? Where's he going to end up doing all that type of crap? You can end up getting companion things that end up doing that. But then the extra crap will end up annoying you. Dave, the Gwidja, fantastic streamer.
who I will give a shout out to if I can. The Gwidja. I think it's this. Good. Dave the Gwidja, fantastic streamer. I had a discussion with him on this one. This page annoys the bollocks off of me. Why does it annoy the bollocks off of me? Because I have Obi Martin up here. Okay? I have Obi Martin up here. I have an under 21 in the squad. Why do I have an under 21 in the squad? Because I like to do rotation far more than most people end up doing. So why is that an issue for me? Because here it shows the main people that it recommends in that position. When I go to all players, it doesn't show all players. It shows the main squad there. When I go to player selection, I'm not allowed to use the filter option. It's showing the people that are out on loan. It's showing everyone that's selectable there when I can't filter out the people that aren't there. So I need to know where they are. I can't add in the ability here to see the people that are on my potential, which is what I want to do. Get the people with the max potential, give them game time, since I can't guarantee it on loan. So I'm trying to do that. Those inconsistencies annoy me in the way that I end up playing the game. But the simplistic person will enjoy it. So it depends on what you're after. It depends on where you are. I think there's great potential in this game. I think they've just underestimated what was required to make it right. And maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Let me know what you think. Rant completed. Also, I don't think we're going to make any changes, even though it would be nice not to have two people that haven't done their complete rehabilitation yet. Mainly because we don't really have anyone to replace them. I mean, Tyler Fredrickson for Luke Shaw, I suppose. Anyway, screw it. Make these changes now. Benjamin Sheshko back on for Obi. Victor, unfortunately, isn't touching the goddamn pitch, so Matthias Cunha for Victor. We're going to go with Manu and continue on the way that's going there. We'll go with Mbuemu, Bruno, Steller down there. Euro Delict in Heaven would be fine, but we're actually going to end up swapping Lissandro Martinez for Heaven and go with this particular team here. Now, we're going to go with Lamens in place of Hardy, even though Hardy has been performing exceptional for us. And we'll see what ends up happening. And this will be the last game of the stream for today, considering I have work in the morning. We'll see how things end up going. Also, Pixel, sorry about ranting completely and not actually 100% saying how you're doing, my friend. Have you been enjoying FM26? Pardon my incredible rant. And yeah, Ashday, I really don't like the look of the new Jaguar. I really don't. I think it's a horrible, horrible, horrible design. Perfect. Oh, don't worry about it. If you're lurking, that's 100% sound. Did they have testers for the game before they released the beta version? Yeah. There was a number of people that ended up having alpha versions. Work to Space ended up having it, but only for a couple of days beforehand. And then they had some internal testing as well. I mean, that's the reason they done the beta, in order to get the information. The big problem with the beta was when they recognized that the problems weren't going to be that bad, they should have either delayed the official release or moved back one of the other versions and released an official patch on the day of release. The fact that the only thing they did on the day of release was remove the watermark pissed off an insane amount of people, and it's just bad practice. I agree with you, especially on the youth selectment where you can't filter people. It's like, for me, it annoys the absolute crap out of me, Pixel. But not everyone plays like we do there. Like, you're not in football. You're not meant to do as many. You're not meant to be this much of a tinkerer like I am now. Like, I had a successfully winning team against leagues. We dominated. We controlled the game. We didn't have many problems. I'm literally after making 6 changes. In terms of management, I'm a tinker man and wrong.
Tinkerman does not work because you don't build consistency, which is the reason why I'm a full season in and only have one familiarity tag in Delict and Martinez. Ironically, a person that wasn't on the goddamn pitch for most of the season. You know? Anyway, let's get into this game. Oh, I say get into this game. I've done that. What? Okay, why did I go in to the tactics review board there if the match wasn't on? That's weird. Okay, ironically, we might end up making subs later on. Now, you cheeky bastards! You have them up for 85 million and you're asking for an extra 8 million because of installments? I mean, ironically, he not enough. He might actually be worth it. Well, he's not. He's not at all worth it. Not in this game. And IRL, that might actually be a good deal. But no. This was me chancing my arm to see whether or not it would lower down the transfer value, and maybe in the future they might. If the value goes down more, I might poke that bear and go for Levi Colwell. But for now, nah. Oh, hold the phone. We don't want this to go too far in case. Oh, they think Chelsea will win. Ew. Fascinating. We're fourth. They're sixth. Why did they think Chelsea will win? I would have expected. I don't like this page. Ooh, I don't like this page. We do have a director of football, don't we? Yeah, we have a director of football. I do. Where's the director of football option to get him to bloody sign them? Because I'm significantly too lazy to bother. Is it real? Oh, whatever. Screw it. Fine. You're just going into the ether, so you're not good enough for me to bother. Why is that director of football button not there? Crikey. Also, stuff like that'll piss you off. Stuff that was there and they've just made slightly more complicated for absolutely no reason. Ooh, who are you? Shit. Okay, well, if you actually get fit, we might use you in a game. Mount is coming back to being fit. You're not fit. Yeah, we're not making any other changes. Fair enough. We have the team ready. So, last game of the stream. Manchester United. CraicAttackCentral's Manchester United versus Thiago Motta's Chelsea. Their best player is, of course, one Cole Palmer. Wants a new contract and as a result is starting to leave. We'll add him to the shortlist in case he doesn't get it, which, by the way, I'd be telling him to, you're here for another 6 years, kiss the rightest side of my left arse cheek. The rightest side of my left arse cheek is what I'd be telling him. They've Kessie there, who they're spending a fucking fortune on, only to have on the bench. Although 100,000 less than what I was able to spend on him. God damn it, they have a bonkersly large youth academy, don't they? Anyway, enough of me. Interesting. Oh, that's unfortunate. Scheiße. The sad thing when it comes down to Hardly is I kind of want him on the bench consistently for us. But he won't be playing enough for it to be good enough for him. So it genuinely isn't worth putting him on the bench. Which is sad, because I like the player and he would be my second choice option at the moment out of the options that we have over Dermot Me if we got an injury. But the game time he's getting in the youth is probably more useful to him. Probably. So we'll ignore it for now. Now, to be fair, Tom Heaton would normally be in that position anyway. You should have a consistent that you don't actually care about being on the bench, and we'll just end up getting into development in a game. Is Cunha, tired? No. Well, then, hopefully he'll perform well. In we go now against Chelsea. Hopefully, we'll perform good against them. We will determine how things go fairly soon now, once she loads, and hope that it ends up going in good ranges for us now. Warm-up is initiating. This is still taking bonkersly too long, by the way. This is something they need to fix. This is too bloody long. But in we go. Stamford Bridge. Robert Sanchez, Reece James, Wedgley Fofana, Benoit Badiashile, who, by the way, has been a disappointment for them. He's a phenomenal player and should be performing better. Jorel Hato, an unbelievable prospect. Enzo Fernandez, their best midfielder. I'll fight you over it. Moise Caicedo, Pedro Neto, Cole Palmer, the man that will probably score against us just to spite us, Alejandro Garnacho, and João Pedro. So, I'd argue they potentially have a stronger bench than us as well. It would be in our luck for Liam Delap to come in and score as well, a former United target. But can our 3-4-2-1 defeat their 4-2-3-1? Only time can tell. In we go. Time for a Stamford Bridge classic. Time for United to get the victory. Time for us to potentially surpass City and go into third on this rainy day in Stamford Bridge. And it's done the kit clash correctly. United Red versus Chelsea Blue in Stamford Bridge. Lamens' first game back since his injury. A dangerous proposition to put him back on such a game. Already, it appears as though Chelsea are more offensive, but Lamens performing particularly well for us. We don't care if they are attacking against us, so long as in the end of it, we end up actually initiating a goal out of the situation. Brian Mbeumo and Bruno hopefully will end up doing what they did against Leeds. They won't have as much space, but height will be Benjamin Sesko's greatest advantage. I mean, danger-wise, they haven't been much of a danger. We have been non-existent. But there's no need for a change yet. A draw isn't a bad result in this game either, but we don't want to draw if we can help it. The midfield battle seems to be about equal. I think we'll try ultra-attacking now, see if we can get a break by just putting hell to handbasket and just going up front.
0 shots on target. Awful. Absolutely awful. But the ultra attacking seems to have given us some match momentum. And Cunha will probably need to be subbed off fairly soon in this half. Also, I noticed that we didn't actually have a single highlight, which is typical too. Garnacho. Ooh, Cole Palmer. And typical United concentration. Oh, what are you doing? We know it'd be gone if it was fucking gone. Unfortunately, I think that has resulted in a loss for us. I don't think we can get back into this. Five shots, 0 on target. That's a goddamn joke again. Inconsistencies such as that are what kill a team, but what can you do? Euro to Delict. Delict to Euro. Can our first shot on target be our first goal? Brian Mbeumo. Oh! The mother of all deflections. Mbeumo to Cunha. Ooh, who did that bounce off of? The mother of all deflections occurring there. We haven't had a shot on target since, which is hilarious. 8 shots, 1 on target. The 1 on target is the goal. Okay, we pause now because our midfield is a joke. It's what's causing us our issues. I suppose we chance our arm. I suppose we chance our arm. And we go with that. Then we'll move Mbeumo over there and we'll put Ahmad on. And let's see if those 2 changes are enough to give us a breakthrough. I don't think it will be, but let's hope. Ooh, maybe. Bruno. João Pedro. Okay, Euro. To Ahmad. Ahmad. Oh! Chelsea, you poor team. The second of mother of all deflections. Ahmad walks through, goes for the cross, ricochets off of 49, ricochets off of Garnacho and straight onto the head of Sesko. 2 ricochets directly into the striker's point of view. Mbeumo ricocheted off of the defender straight into the goal. Ricochets into the head. Oh, God damn it. Bloody course. Is Mazraoui on the bench? No. Shit. What do we do here? Ooh. I mean... I think we move Mbeumo over again. And then we just move them back. And we go with a Moss. And I don't think we really have a choice but to do that. which is kind of hilarious, to be honest. But what can you really do, I suppose? Okay, that's a horrible injury to come to, because Ahmad actually ended up playing good role there. I hope he's not out for long, as Ahmad's one of our better players, and he's had a couple of injuries this season. Sanchez out there. Yoro captures the ball to Stellar, up to Martinez, up to Amas, Stellar, Martinez, Bruno, Stellar, Yoro, Cunha, Mbuemu to Victor. Victor! Rouge has scored a goal! Oh my God! And in this game here, where we needed it for consistency because of the injury, Victor proves himself good. Victor makes the move that we needed. It might be time to consider using this formation more consistently if that ends up working well. Very, very good from Victor. Very good from Victor. And whatever has happened, the little changes that we've done to this team, the substitutions have made monstrous differences in this particular save. Mbuemu with a horrible, horrible, horrible shot, but Sanchez hadn't him covered. If he had that on target, that could have went in. Sanchez hadn't that covered. This has been a torrid display by Robert Sanchez. Absolutely torrid display by Robert Sanchez. But fantastic result from us that we don't stat-wise deserve anyway. Sesko not fast enough to catch back up to that, unfortunately. But we're still in this. Mbuemu to Victor to Stellar to Cunha to Mbuemu, and Mbuemu makes it 4. And to be fair to the man, he deserves that goal. And Cunha and Mbuemu finally performing with each other, finally doing the correct work. Unfortunate for Chelsea, number 29 kept Mbuemu onside. Should have been offside, but 29 kept him onside, whoever that was. We'll find it out in a minute. Can they get a consolation goal back? Garnacho almost did, but a nice save by Lamens, and we're immediately back on the attack. Amas there's covered. Bad pass by Amas. They're coming back into the attack. This is now high-intensity gameplay for the end of it, but Lamens with a nice owl save. 7 minutes of extra time. Who's there? 29? 29. Fofana making a big mistake for them in the Cunha goal. But Robert Sanchez, as you can see there, 6.0. Absolutely torrid display by Fofana. But at the end of the day, those stats are not indicative of what this game was at the initial stages of it. Substitutions helped immensely. Brian Mbuemu helped unbelievably when he ended up coming on. Or not Brian Mbuemu. Victor ended up helping when he ended up coming on. Hamas actually done particularly well when he done that, but Ahmad ended up making an incredible difference when he ended up going onto that side. We will actually consider this formation from this point onwards, considering it has performed well for us, but a 4-1 victory over Chelsea puts us in good formations as we continue onwards and forthwith. They have a game in hand, but City are behind us at the moment, and third is in place for us. Liverpool drew as well, so in theory, there's a chance for second, and he's out for quite a while. We'll send him to a specialist with the fractured ribs, so Ahmad is out, so Mbuemu will be playing primarily in that position, with Mazraoui on the bench. But good performance by us. Next game is Brentford, and then we have the FA Cup versus Man City, then home for Liverpool. Couple of big games for the next time that we come back.
To everyone that's been here tonight, I absolutely enjoyed every moment of it. Pleasure to have you in, even if you ended up dealing with my rant. You came back just in time for me to leave, Matty. Unfortunately, we had a classic versus Chelsea. The performance ended up going fantastically well. Victor Rushk ended up scoring, showcasing himself up very good. We might end up trying the new tactic at some point in time with the two strikers up front instead of the two cams because it ended up going well. Unfortunately, yes, it is 12:51 and I have work in the morning. But I will be back on tomorrow. As of this moment in time, it is yet to be determined whether or not I'll be on FM or whether or not I'll be on Shin Megami Tensei 5, but one of the two will be played, and please feel free to come in. Pixel, it was an absolute pleasure to have you. Always a pleasure to have you, our Gears of War super fan. So for all of you, if you want to wait and join the raid, you can do. I just do the goodbye twice, one for Twitch, one for the rest of you. So feel free to wait and do that if you want to for your second goodbye. But for everyone else on TikTok, on YouTube, on Kick, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure having you. I am Stupid Sexy Craic. It has been an absolute pleasure. Make sure your crack is 90. Schlongafol and Pogmahom.